I think when we are entering kind of a new phase, and speaking about new phase, let's enter the drafting phase for Game 1 between these two teams. And just special shout out to the Homebois Syndicate team, which is Homebois Academy team. They are all in the front seat just seeing how the big brothers take on the big stage.
You know, I like how every team, actually almost every team has got the new jerseys coming to the playoffs here. And I'm not gonna lie, Homebois' jerseys. Ooh, what do you think about this one? Like, do you like last season's one or do you prefer this season's one?
Hey man, Daddy who gave me a jersey before, I'm happy.
Really?
If you give me another one. Yeah.
I want a jersey.
No way! After so many seasons, I've not received a single one from Daddy and you got one just 2 seasons into MPL?
No, you're wrong, you're wrong. One season, I got it last year.
No way, Husky!
Thank you, Daddy Hood. Love you a lot. Love you so much. Homeboy's gonna win this for sure.
Maybe you can just walk into the room right now.
I think I'm out. I'm done. Like I'll never get a Homeboy.
We're on the Homeboy side, you know. The room's right there.
This is the
somebody clip
you
this.
Just walk down there. And
this
knock
is
on
not
the door.
fair. I've been watching your games and casting your games since season 3 until now. It's season 13.
Season 3?
Yeah. I've not gotten a single one off him, and you got it off 1 season. How is this fair? This is biasness at the fight. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm done. Whatever.
No, I mean,
whatever.
If you look at it from another angle, at least you could walk properly. I could not walk. Life is not fair to everyone. God is fair to everyone. But I want to talk about the draft a little bit. Matilda being led through by RSG, and why means Homeboys are going to pick it up instantly. I think if RSG, usually they have the tendency to go for the Valentina first phase for Izanami or any sort of utility hero. In this case, I think Valentina probably is the direct choice. And then you probably couple it up with a jungler.
We'll see whether they go for that. RSG has definitely shifted up their style of drafting here and there. Sometimes they'll prioritize Leo's hero first. Sometimes they'll prioritize Benogo or Izanami first. They do usually like to leave Storm and Rippo until a little bit later on, unless they can guarantee a specific hero. But RSG, now that they're going to be face-to-face with the Matilda, which dominated earlier today in the hands of Yumes, they're going to be going for the Fredrin and the Novaria.
Okay, looks like we are going to see a little bit of comforts here coming from Homeboys. They might get the Barats here for Chibi, but the question here is, does Chibi want to play this, right? Like, we saw how Matilda has made a huge impact in the previous game for SRG, even yesterday's game as well. So, for it to be led through here in the current patch, it's weird to see that now they are prioritizing on other bands over the Matilda.
Yeah, I feel like for RSGMY, if you think from their perspective, their hands might be a bit tight in this banning phase, right? You cannot let a Harry through no matter what. But you also have to ban the Chip because Zorn has been tearing up a Storm.
Oh!
And Chip just got buffed. And we now get the Nolan and Natan for Homeboys. Comfort picks.
And the crowd goes wild instantly. The Nolan pick in the hands of Chibi, which achieved the highest GPM overall across all MPL regions this season. Going to be making an appearance alongside that Natan. RSG goes for the Roger, but the success rate of this hero today has not been particularly stellar.
I think just like, 2 games of Roger, both of them ended in losses. 2 or 3, 2 games, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. But overall, I think Barbara, this is probably very direct. I don't see too much of an anomaly yet. I know Homeboy Chibi loves his assassin, right? He's probably one of the few junglers that is still actively given that Nolan, despite the minor meta shifts.
Wait a minute. Why would they ban the Barats considering that RSG is Homeboy has pretty much shown Nolan, right? There's no way they're putting Barats jungle.
I mean, there's a Barats XP.
Yeah, I know, but would they force that on Serpat? Like, Serpat can play a Paquito, he can play Benedetta as well. So I'm very surprised RSGMY just like double down on this Barats ban.
But you have to think of the setters, right? Like, they have revealed jungler, gold laner, and roamer. You still don't really have a front line. I think you need someone to set up fights. So Barats is a good choice. You probably have the Terizla, Tamus as well. These two are probably the options. Xborg, so 3 more premier picks that I think Homeboys can get their hands on. Homeboys himself banned on the Terizla. We see Ripple yesterday, right? This guy went 9-1 on the Terizla.
Yeah.
We can't forget about the Paquito as well, Sepat's namesake. So there's definitely a good number of EXP laners still available in the pool. I think getting rid of the Barats here does make a lot of sense because you don't want to give an easy way to just remove the Fredrin from objective control here. It's still a counter, even if it's not the jungle pickup for the Homeboys. So RSG wants to make sure that that won't be a major issue. They'll also ban out the Arlet, so focusing on making sure that their team fight potential is going to be solid.
Okay, Sapa now has to make a decision. Who is he going to be facing off here? Because I'm pretty sure Repo is in a situation where he will get first priority pick on that XP later. So if Homebois decides to double down on it XP ban, means that he will be in a little bit of tough spots here. So is he going to let the X-Ball through? Is he going to pick the Khalid? Is he going to pick the Paquito? Does he double down just banning it off? Because as of now, what's a good XP laner that can deal with Nolan? And I feel like Phoveus is not great. Like people say, oh, Phoveus is great, you can have a lot of dashes, but no, against a Nolan, it does absolutely nothing. So I feel like, oh, they don't show it yet. Okay, they go for the Edith first.
I think Nolan is one thing going up against the Nolan, but it's also the Matilda, right? The fact that Matilda exists in Homeboy's draft means that if you don't have something with a hard lockdown like a Terizla, there's really not much XP laners that can reliably keep you in place. It all requires your mechanics like Lapu Lapu, sure, but you need to land the Land Shaker. Same with Khalid if you go in with the ultimate. I think in this case, RSGMY, you don't really have the optimal choice, but you have viable options.
Oh, I'm surprised they didn't go for the Sapaki though. They're going to go for the Tamus instead, coming from Homebois.
Need a setter.
They need a strong front line, and I guess Tamus is pretty tanky if you think about it, because they only have one front line.
Yeah. And not only do they need a solid solo front line, they need an EXP laner that they can pick blind, because they don't know what Ripo's hero is going to be just yet. It could be the Edith, but they are not too certain, so better to go with a hero that will win most matchups quite easily, and I think Tamus is one of the few heroes that will fit both those bills for the Homeboys. So with their draft complete now, RSG gonna be looking for that EXP laner for themselves.
Yeah, and the second thing is that this Tamus, RCNY at this point of time won't have enough damage to even scratch the Tamus from, at least for the first, 5 to 8 minutes. So they're gonna pick up the Ruby instead. This is most likely gonna be a Ruby roam. Yeah, I think it makes a lot more sense. Tamus in the Edith, I still feel like it's Tamus' favorite, but at least for the Edith, you have some sort of a lane control with that wave clear.
Interesting to see how RSG has actually drafted it accordingly as well. They bring in the Ruby. There is going to be some sort of disruption, but I don't know. This feels like there's a lot of mobilities coming from Homeboys, whereas RSGMY, they will have a more annoying comp. What do you guys think?
I think based on what we're seeing here, yes, you're correct. Higher mobility composition from the Homeboys. They want to snowball, they want to gank, they want to get kills on Chibi's Nolan. So RSG knows they're not going to be out mobilizing a Matilda, so they're going to play for strong side lanes instead. By having Edith and Roger in the side lanes, they're heroes that are difficult to gank easily, and that might delay them enough to get to mid-game.
Oh, well. We shall see. Will the defending champions dominate? Or will RSGMY go and defy against all odds to prove themselves to be prime? This is the best of 5 series. Game 1, Homeboys versus RSGMY.
Homeboys literally in their comfort zone right now. The draft allows them to not just be mobile. This is first blood already.
No, what?
We're seeing the damage, the hot fix in the jungle coming into play. First blood for Lo Liao. Oh, this is what a start they have.
Yeah, excellent start. Now even harassing Udil out of the mid lane, denying him from EXP, forcing Purify from Zorn. This is exactly the opening RSGMY was looking for. But Chibi is still going to continue on his usual pathing.
I'm surprised they actually decided
got the
to go
Lethal.
for the invade here, but now Lethal in the hands of RSGMY. Zorn still going a little bit more pesky here as he tries to go for invades. It's not even 2 minutes yet, and the penalty still applies to Homeboys. This is going to put them in a very awkward situation, but Zorn is going to try to push the pressure here. Chibi now, level 3. He wants to try and steal the jungle here. He's going to make an attack, but he's taking lesser damage. But guess what? The burst coming from Storm and Vinogo, chopping Chibi onto his half HP.
I think Chibi didn't get the camp, so that is good for Vinogo. At least he's not falling behind in terms of experience. They'll hit level 4 at the same time. Retri will come back up for the objective. Izanami also gets to fall back, but he does have that experience advantage. So the early game for RGMY at this point of time is going pretty swimmingly.
One benefit for the Homeboys is that dying that early on in the game actually has a lot less impact as if you were to give first blood like 2 or 3 minutes in. Zorn's able to respawn quite quickly, doesn't miss out on too much EXP. The only thing they lose out on is that first blood gold. So RCMY only with a 600 net worth lead for now as we jump on into a quick pause.
I believe it was called by RSGMY. Izanami's side. We'll get that checked out. make sure that both teams are going to be playing at their optimum potential. But this is good for RSGMY. I think they looked at Homeboys draft and they realized that this draft relies on the Tamus primarily to front line. They want to be able to peel in and out of a fight with the Matilda. They're mobile, but at the same time, they can't really fight you man-to-man as a 5. So if you can outnumber them in that early stage, you punish Zorn, you make sure that your cores get a hit, that mid-game is going to be a bit more smoother for RSGMY.
Looks like there is something wrong with Storm's setup right there, so they are going to be fixing it as quickly as they can. Meanwhile, I think this is a good time for Homeboys to actually figure out what they need to do, right? Because think about this. They made a little bit small mistake coming from Zorn here, so how do they redeem about this? You talked about this, but now, well, we've got Daddyhood, the man here. He's going to be posing like his favorite hero. Who's his favorite hero right now?
Phone?
Oh, he's gonna pose Hayabusa.
Wow!
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I like it.
We got the approval from the cameraman himself too. So that's pretty good. Good job from Daddyhood there. So going into this game, Homeboys have already started out just a little bit slow because unfortunately they gave up that first blood. But the important timing for a comp like this is still going to be that first hurdle and whether or not Chibi can get a couple of kills to get that snowball going.
Yeah, he's one of the fastest Nolan players in MPL MY from even from last season until now. We get the Amoy, yes.
You know what's up. It's about game time and we're jumping back into the game. And as you can see, RSGMY, they're going to be trying to contest for the turtle pit for now. Homeboys already in position, dropping down pretty low. Here comes Echo coming in, but
what?
They're going to force the fight, but Vinogo, he wins the retreat battle. Homeboys, they need to back off. They're going for the combo as well. They're going for drop. Vinogo finds the kill on Audio, and now Homeboys, they need to get Sapat out. Fortunately for them, they are able to do so. But Storm with the flicker play, he wants to chase Sapat. He doesn't want to get him out of there. Izanami missing the snipe. Ventus sends him off. Storm is going to try and come into this, but Sapat eventually falls under turret. Zorn also needs to get out in one fell sweep. RSGMY wins the retreat battle, picks up 3 kills, and now they're looking for more. TV tried to be a little bit cheeky, and he's also dead. What happened to the defending champions?
Wow.
Prime RSGMY.
That's a 2k gold lead from that sequence. Everything went right for RSGMY. Props to Ripple. His flicker of Shatter completely messed up Udio because it sent him into a straight up Appraiser's Wrath that killed him instantly. And of course Storm taking out Sapat, forcing the vengeance of all things. And icing on the cake, they even cash in on Chibi trying to sneak away the purple buff. So this early game is a disaster for Homeboys.
And that is straight up a disaster. We already talked about how important that first turtle timing is for composition that's running a Nolan. Not only did Homeboys get dismantled there, not only did Chibi lose retreat to Vinogo, but trying to vertical jungle cost him his life, and that's going to put an assassin jungler in a situation where he's not going to be able to contribute for a little while, and is exactly what RSGMY is looking for.
Oh boy, this is something that we did not expect right from the get-go. Who would have thought RSGMY putting Homeboys at their own place here? Maybe a little bit of mistake, but they definitely are putting on a show. Meanwhile, on bottom side, Circling Eagle comes in, still taking a little bit too much damage here. He's buying a little bit of time here. Eventually, here comes Nets with the entropy, but he's not able to get the kill. And RSGMY, they hold on once more.
They even get a kill on the Sapat, right? They brought Vinogo up top and Ripple cashed in on that. And now Vinogo is a level ahead of Chibi, takes the purple buff away.
Oh no.
The snowball continues for RSGMY, 3k goal advantage as the second turtle spawns.
This is terrible for Homeboy, straight up, but really good if you're an RSGMY fan right now. Storm taking a lot of poke damage, but I'm not sure if this is the fight they're looking for.
Oh, I'm a Fender comes in. They are going to try and force the issue. Circling Eagle comes in. Oh, Zorn not committing to Storm, so they are going to both disengage, knowing that it's just not worth it. Udi also popping the ult here. Not going to be able to do too much damage, so but thinking about shoving the top side, but Turtle completely ignored from both sides, not having retry.
If you're RSGMY, you probably don't need the turtle as much as Homeboys does, but even Homeboys can't really walk up. Chibi needs to start power farming, just got the Hunter Strike, but Vinogo, he's starting on the turtle already.
Oh, let's see how it goes here. Zorn still trying to body check his health as well. He's looking for the right timing. Echo comes in. Chibi looking for the back line. Circling Eagle as well. Repo taking a little bit of damage, but Chibi snipes him from right under Vinogo. Vinogo with the Appraiser's Wrath, not going to be able to connect Homeboys. He's able to steal it away like the sneaky little chicken they are.
And Nats gets killed off. Again, the combined efforts of Stove and Lo Liao. We talked about RSGNY not really needing the turtle as much as Homeboys. Chibi got a drive-by, but they lose their Natan.
And we're seeing really smart plays being made here by both teams. Homeboys choosing to go for an in and out, steal the turtle, disengage from the fight because they know they're behind. But RSG also taking advantage of the situation to play the opposite side of the map and start giving advantage to Lolil. We talk about the snowball on Nolan, but a snowball on Roger is just as scary. And Lolil currently is already 2-0-1.
RSGNY currently 3k net worth lead, and now they're going to try and force an issue. Nets gets caught out in the middle. The Tilda with the saves forces an entropy as well to get out to safety. So he's going to be A-OK for now, but Chibi getting zoned out by Repo. Not the perfect Nolan game for him this time, as Homeboys is struggling to make ends meet across the map.
Yeah. RSG Malaysia just straight up abusing Nets, knowing that he does not have Purify for a while more. If not for the guiding wind, Ness would have 100% died in the situation. Even despite that, RSGNY, they're going to cut this bottom wave in an attempt to get this tier 1. Loleo's not going to be scared of Chibi.
Oh no, Loleo's taking a little bit too much damage. Chibi's looking for the flash. Nice light compounds coming from Loleo to die the initial burst. But Chibi is down towards the final 2 charge. He might die to this, and yes, he's dead. Killing spree for Loleo's. Now top side as well, another engagement happens as well. Repo is going to try buy time. Zord manages to escape the slot shatter here.
What did we say? He's not going to be scared of Chibi. He is just way too strong. If Chibi can't land a full combo without him dodging it, and Loleo will solo kill him.
Starting to look a little bit like desperation from the Homeboys here. Chibi knows he needs kills to start becoming relevant in this game again. But RSGNY have drafted very smartly here by just basically not giving Homeboys easy heroes to get easy Nolan chain kills off of. And that's making Chibi's life very difficult.
So much stun, so much CC from RSGNY. Homeboys, all they gotta do is just wait for time now. They're like, what can they do at this point?
I think you just have to play the side lanes, right? You gotta farm up a bit, let Nets get his items, because somebody he's gonna eventually fall on this Damus, and in a game where Damus is behind, it's just twice as worse. So it comes down to Nets, perhaps Chibi to kind of make ends meet, catch up to RSGNY.
It's gonna be difficult though. It'll take Homeboys at least another 2 or 3 minutes before they can actually look to fight again. It would be a good timing because that's about when the Lord will spawn, so maybe it'll be enough for Homeboys to find the angle they're looking for. At RSG, all they really need to do is just keep doing what they're doing. Izanami should scale up quite well. Lolil and Rippo will have more than enough damage together once you come into that late game phase. So as long as they continue to deny map control and space for Homeboys, RSGNY actually have a straight shot to victory here.
RSGNY taking away what Homeboys needs the most.
Oh no, Sapa, he got caught out. He needs to get out. Zorn as well. They're taking so much damage. They're able to escape. Chibi tried to go for the backlines to snipe Leos, but doesn't seem to be able to do so. Vinogo stops him in his track. Homeboys making an attempt, but still a very risky one.
Yeah, that fight was not even close. RSGNY didn't have to use too much. The ultimates are going to come back out very, very swiftly. And the best part is that the Lord is spawning on the bottom side, so...
Oh my goodness, Echo comes in. It does see the Homeboys. They're like, everything they're trying to do is getting completely read by RSGNY, and now even the purple buff as well getting completely slowed through. They're going to send Sapa to try zone off Vinogo. Middle lane defended. Homeboys now defending the rest, but no, they'll lose it as well. They're bringing in Chibi to go in for a snipe. She tries for the combo. Stone! Almost losing his life, but he will get out. Homeboys, again, struggling. Desperation. Another attempt, but Repo's only half HP. They need somebody to get a finisher. And unfortunate to say, RSGNY is just too tanky right now.
And they gotta slow it down. Nets is basically their only win condition now for the Homeboys, and RSGNY should be aware of this. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more focus towards this Natan, but I think that the Homeboys are doing a good job here of just splitting up the map, trying to steal away jungle camps, playing the opposite lane. They're not gonna contest for this Lord.
At least let Nets get the top tier 2. If Chibi can steal this Lord, Homeboys are going to stabilize this game in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, but it's going to be close here. They're calling himself out to try and zone him out. Down towards very, very low. Chibi, they don't have the information. Not going to make the attempt. So RSGNY secures the Lord in their favor, but they may lose a tier 2 up top.
It's the best that Homeboys can hope for. Just let Nets get everything. He is, like Slava said, the only win condition. If Nets can pop off and kill everyone on RGMY, they win the game. But if Nets goes down, the game ends right then and there because RGMY have completely outskilled everyone on Homebois, and this Natan is their last hope.
Gonna be pushing in the mid lane here. Chibi still trying to make something happen on the opposite side of the map, but Rippo alone is more than enough to deny him that possibility, and RSG just running down mid lane.
Yeah, it's going to be tough here. It's going to be a very difficult defense. Lord already matching from the top side. Nolan securing the purple buff on the enemy jungle, so that's a big plus point for him. But again, they need more out of Chibi.
This Novari is becoming a big menace. No one on Homebois can catch Izanami, and he's dealing way too much damage. He's giving way too much info to his team.
Oh no, Chibi is making his way from the flank here. He needs to be quick a little bit more. Lord's going to about to crash as well. Homebois, they have to throw bodies for this, but at the same time, RGMY, they don't know where Nolan is. He's hiding in the bush. Meanwhile, here comes the attempt here. I'm Offender has been used. Subpot needs to pop his out to back off, but Chibi again, I think he briefly saw him. Izanami, he found him. He needs to get out. RGMY, they will back off, and this is good. Chibi is somewhat making space for the team, and RGMY looks like with all that aggression has given up with the assault.
But really good discipline, right, with the positioning from RSGMY. Even though they could look the straight push into the Homeboys base, by recognizing that they don't know where the Nolan is, they're still positioning safely, checking behind them, making sure that no flanks are left exposed. Chibi is looking desperately for Izanami especially.
Oh no. Are you sure? You should be recalling here, RGMY. Do they check this? They're thinking about this. No, Izanami, they found him. Oh no, mistakes were made, Chibi. What were you thinking? You are gonna get punished for this. He could have gotten out. Tried for a risky play, but RGMY, they've got him completely shut down.
Desperation. I don't think you can even kill Izanami. Izanami just got the blood wings. You won't have enough damage to blow through him unless you have like another core item.
Oh, now Stowe with the catch coming in as well. Sabat, he's going to try and play through it, but the chain stun's coming through. Izanami killing spree. RSGMY 9-0 in the second day of the playoff against Homebois. An absolute domination. And now Benogo looking for the taunt here. They even find Odil. Homebois, they're crumbling. What happened?
Wow, this is cinema from RSGMY. They can just take the next Lord and wait to beat up Homebois in their own base at this point.
Oh no, Zord, he's getting pulled back here. He's trying to make a play, but RSGMY is just... Ugh.
RSG is being too efficient here. I don't know what kind of practice they went through during the break, but this is a very different team than we saw at the end of the regular season. Rotations seem cleaner, coordination is good, and their understanding of how to draft to counteract this Nolan pick from the Homebois, which has worked for them the entire season, is showing a higher level of mastery right now. They're gonna take the Lord for free.
Yep, and at the same time, admitting your own mistakes and working on improving to become better. RSGMY, Vinogo, he's admitted himself to play really bad yesterday. Today, with self-realization, he's playing a better game than before.
I think also you give props to Stoem for opening up so much space for the team. Of course, you have Izanami, this Novaria. It's always efficient when you want to get info, but this push might be the one.
Yep, and now with the echo coming in, I'm offended from Storm. Catches Subot. He's going for the vengeance. He's going to be able to survive this. But the Lord has to fall, and it will do so. Loleo spit the pounds, doesn't get the kill. He needs to back out a little bit more, but Zorn, he is going to die to this. It is going to be meat shield for Homebois. They're still holding on. 4v5. Vinogo forced to back off. The snipe comes in. Chibi, again, could not find a single kill from the side of Homebois. As RSGMY, they are continuing this. Vinogo walking back from the base. 4v4 for now. As they are going to try and poke this from the flank. Zorn going to be scouted out as well. Sapan will be bursted out. GP from the back lines finds Izanami, but Izanami flickers out. He's going to be okay. Nets! He tries to make a play, and he's going to be able to scare him off guard. They get a double with this defense as RSGMY underestimated the power of Nets.
No Vinogo. Yeah, Vinogo needed to be there. I feel like without Vinogo, they're stealing the Primal Wrath, and this Natan coming online. You're starting to feel the heat from Homebois. The damage not to be underestimated, but still RSGMY, they have a massive lead.
RGMY still has a lot of damage. The only reason that they ended up getting picked off in that last fight was that they stayed a bit too long, tried to end the game with a single minion wave. And even though Chibi wasn't able to get any kills, he was able to divert a lot of attention from the RSGMY backline away until it was too late to realize that Nets and Udil were actually dismantling their front line instead.
Well, speaking of dismantling here, can they make a comeback out despite all this? They've been dragging this for so long. We started to see a little bit of glimpse of Nets, but eventually RGMI, they've got Loleo Zorn. Oh no, he's got the Purify. He's gonna go for Single Eagle. He's able to get out, so that's a plus point for Homeboys. Homeboy fans gotta be having a little bit of sigh of relief for now.
Man, the amount of shield that Zorn got from that, it really felt like he didn't take any damage at all. But it is as a cost of the Purify. Side lanes, the mid and bottom minion wave will always be in RGMY's favors just because they took the inhibitor down.
But it is a notable Lord push advantage here. We saw that Homeboys actually managed to shift it into the negatives for RSGMY. Their base is empty except for one inhibitor, but they're slowly regaining some net worth control. The thing is, 6k at this point though is still quite a lot. RG just needs to avoid staying too long in these fights and they'll be okay, honestly.
Yeah, Conceal has been played as well, coming from RGMY. But seems like they don't want to take any more risks here. They are going to focus on the Lord fight here. This is going to be very important because both sides level 15. One wrong move means that it is going to be a potential loss here. In this case, here comes the collapse here. They're dropping on Serpat. They're throwing everything, but Udio with the plays. And now GB looking for the back lines. They're finding Loleos. And now the taunt coming from Vinogo to stop him back. Loleos will survive.
Wow.
But they get the drop on GB. Vinogo with the catch. They lose two. What a maneuver from RSGMY.
Dude, Nets is dangerous. He is absolutely lethal in this fight. Yeah, I feel like RSGMY, if you can kill Nets, the game ends. But if Nets is left unattended, he is solo carrying Homeboys.
No. The Lord gets resetted here, so that's going to buy a little bit more time for Homeboys. Somebody's got to defend the creep wave. They're sending Udil to defend. Now, Circling Eagle gives them vision. Nets cannot push forward. Now, Loleo's looking for the chase, but he doesn't want to throw as they have to defend the base. RSGMY secures the Lord once more.
RGMY going to have a pretty easy time pushing in with this. Only one inhibitor standing, and Homeboys doesn't have the best wave clear save for the Natan. So as long as they don't make the same mistake as previously, this first game should go to them. But Homeboys needs to be respected, honestly. This spacing, they...
GB! No, that's huge! That's huge! That's exactly what Homeboys needed! They got the kill on the Roger! He tried the first time, he chipped the immortality. Now for the second time here, can he get out? Yes, he can. They will buy even more time now. RSGMY cannot close out the game now.
It's really dangerous territories. Homeboys at the 52k total net worth. Blood Wings finally up on Nets. He even went for the Holy Crystal first before the Blood Wings, knowing that they need the damage.
Circling Eagle connects on two. Finds Udio. Tier 1 still stands. Purple buff not available. GB will steal it away from Vinogo. So a little bit more space for Homeboys. But again, creeps, inhibitors fallen. It feels so difficult for Homeboys.
But they're doing it. They're mounting that comeback. That 6k net worth lead is now only half of that. And you can see that the goal difference between the gold laners is not too notable. Chibi has actually regained his net worth lead as well. The RGMY, this is literally what I was talking about, needs to respect Homeboys a little bit. They started to stop paying attention to Nolan's positioning.
Interesting enough, he's got a Winds of Nature on GB? What? Okay.
Chibi.
Does he?
Oh, sorry, on Natan. Okay, no, forget it. I'm confused. I'm lost. Like, I thought it was Chibi on the Natan, but, you know, it's Nets. Sorry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now, looking at the Echo coming in, they are going to try and force a fight on Serpat here. Looks like he's going to be very tanky. He's diving the back lines, he's connecting on Luleo, but they can't seem to finish him off here. GB forced to diverge. He focused on the Vinogo. He gets taunted up. That's going to be the immortality chopped away. GB, can he get out? No, he cannot. Got stunned. He's going to be permanently locked down. As RAGMY now shutting down the jungler means that is the opening they need to take a jab on the crystal.
Thankfully, Chibi will be back when the Lord respawns. Credits to Ripple for landing the Primal Wrath stun onto the root onto Chibi. He could have dashed away easily, but this is RGMY's second chance to try and end the game.
They're not gonna try and wait for the Lord. They're gonna try and see and they can do this while Chibi's still dead.
Yep, now Nets is going to be the all-savior boy here, the Wonder Boy. Can he do it? No, he went forward. He's going to get taunted out. But no, the damage is good. They actually have the damage. They will survive. And Nets, he's 1 HP. He survived. The winds of nature. He's got everything. The Wonder Boy does it again. Chibi, I got you. Don't worry.
Avoiding that appraiser's wrath with the winds of nature literally saved them. If Vinogo hits that out point blank onto Nets like that, he's surely dead. Homeboy just pulling this out of the pocket. What used to be a close to 10k goal advantage has now shrunk to non-existent. This 1.6 does not matter at all.
They're called Homeboys for a reason. They're gonna defend their home with their lives. They've turned this game around and now it's a 50-50. Lord at half HP.
Now, to start things off, Zorn going to be a circling eagle looking for the knockup. He doesn't get it,
Oh!
but no, Vinogo! He found Nets! A big appraiser's round, that's huge! Chibi, he needs to win the red tree, and Chibi does it! But Homeboys, they need to get out. Subpot, run! Subpot, run! He's got immortality. Vinogo, he's so low. He's trying to find a pickoff as well. Homeboys, they managed to get out. No! Stole with the pull!
The snipe!
The snipe from Zanami. They found Chibi. Vinogo so strong. Tried to go for the appraiser's wrath. He cannot die. Winter trying to get the buy time. He gets out, but Homeboys, they need to reset. It's 4v5. Lord in their favor. They've lost Nets. They've lost Chibi. Nets, 15 seconds left. They're throwing bodies for this. Subpot, he needs to defend with all his life. That's going to be the first immortality. Circling Eagle connects on 5. He's buying so much time.
Nets
it's
is
not
back.
good. Subpot is dead. Nets as well. Sword is the only one left. It's not good enough for the Homeboys. They tried their best, but RSGMY is the one that takes game 1.
Man, RCNY steamroll Homeboys that hard and still struggle to close out the game thanks to the mechanical prowess of Homeboys. What a game 1!
The rivalry persists here. It looks so one-sided, but the Homeboys bringing it back from an entire world's worth of gold advantage and almost closing it out. Nets unfortunately let down his guard at the last second. If he didn't get hit by the appraiser's wrath there, it could have been a different story. And we're starting off our second series of the day in probably the most interesting way possible.
I don't know what's up with playoffs, but for some reason, MPL MY playoffs is just different. It's spicy, it's hot, it's like every game is this close. Like, oh, we thought it's gonna be a land sweep by Homeboys, but guess what? RSGMY, do not underestimate them. They were former champions. They will pull off some really interesting pocket strategy. And guess what? Bam! Homeboys, no chance.
I mean, it does make you wonder that if Homeboys play at this level when they're that far behind, imagine if that game went the other way. Imagine if Homeboys got the lead. That game would have ended so fast. But gotta give props to RCNY though. They were able to really shut Homeboys down to prevent them from ever getting a hit.
And we
MVP
gotta
this game.
award MVP. Who's it gonna be? Is it Vinogo? Is it Izanami?
Izanami, yes.
It is Izanami. The Novaria continuing to be a very powerful hero for maintaining map control and giving you advantages during team fights. 5-0 and 11 in a game where there's a Nolan as well. His positioning continues to be clean every single time.
I mean, this entire game, I think this Novara not only gave the damage, but also landed some crucial snipes, right? The last one, we said, okay, Nets got caught by the appraiser's wrath. That's step 1. Izanami finding some crazy snipes that took out Chibi. I think that was really the green light for RCMY to go for the end. And he has been finding Chibi the entire game. So you really have to give props to that awareness that he has.
Yeah, Izanami is just a build different, right? Like a lot of instances where normally Chibi has been hunting him, and because he's checking behind the bush, knowing that when he dropped the echo in front, knowing that, hey, I didn't catch Chibi, where is Chibi? There's only so many places, and for him, with the process elimination, he just made sure that Chibi could not get to him for absolutely free.
Izanami is a pillar for RSGMY. He's been around for as long as they've been around and has continued to become that reliable backbone for the rest of his team. You can see here in the end score, 20 kills to 5, but Homeboy still managed to drag it out to almost 22 minutes long, nearly turning the game around as well. So both these teams are very evenly matched and both out for blood.
And also special mention, special shout out to Stoem on this Ruby. 14 assists, 16 takedowns out of 20. This guy, he has been setting up these plays. I talked about how Stoem, sometimes he's underestimating himself. He's overlooking himself, but when pushed up to shoves, when RCMY needs to make a play, oh boy, the amount of pulls he got with the I'm Offended onto crucial Homeboy's target was one of the pillar reasons why RCMY got the lead.
RCMY went into this match with a great understanding and a goal. Once they saw Chibi pick up the Nolan, they knew. Play for strong side lanes, play together, don't allow them to snowball, just completely wail on them when they go for these turtle objectives. And that's what they did. That's how they controlled the early game so well, by denying any chance of a snowball from the Homeboys with their Matilda and their Nolan. But they started to let down their guard a little bit. Once mid-game came about, Homeboys, we saw that adaptability that we've been highlighting today. It just wasn't quite enough to finish things off.
Well, seeing how all these games that happened here, I felt like Homeboys, they got a little bit overconfident. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the Nolan pickup, I like it, but at the same time, they weren't expecting RSGMY to hit so hard right from the get-go. And because of that, it kind of forced them into a panic button alert where they're trying to make plays across the map. So I like that Homeboys is finally warmed up, but it feels like that was a big wake-up slap. Hey, Homeboys, we're not pushovers.
Yeah.
Means game 2, they had to rethink how they play their game.
Yeah. But to be very honest, Nolan at this point, at this stage of the meta, isn't really 100% banned anymore, right? A lot of teams are letting Nolan through because there are ways to deal with him, and we just saw RSGMY did a perfect example. We win the first objective fight, we snowball out of control. Nolan, you want a power farm? You go for the objectives, we go for a side lanes. Nets being under a lot of pressure. Sapat, who was supposed to be the brick wall for the first 10 minutes, gets ganked and goes down in like, 6 to 7 minutes. So I think the protocols from RSGMY were pretty good. They were good enough to shut Homeboys down early on. But Homeboys' late game management, like Sadafa mentioned, perfect.
Homeboys, I think, still as a team has better macro than RSGMY. So RSG being able to get that early game snowball was crucial to make sure that they still retained enough control to deny Homeboys from victory. And unfortunately, I think the results of this game still allow us to see the exact interaction between tank and assassin junglers. Despite the recent patch, it still does seem like tankier utility junglers are still more consistent and reliable overall.
Yeah, I think Izanami, he's been opening up a lot of map situations here, but you have to give credit towards Repo as well as Storm, right? Like, they have been the pillars where every single time Chibi comes in, which quote-unquote has high mobility, and to be honest, I feel like it's very difficult to catch similarly to how a Lancelot moves. For Storm to slow down the tempo, set up for Repo and the stun in towards a Vinogo's taunt, it's just so difficult to actually pierce through the back lines, especially for Homeboy. So I was very surprised that even then, Homeboys was able to find some kind of ways to actually flank the backlines.
It's all about playing around that vision. I think RSG, like Sadava pointed out, got a bit sloppy towards the later stage of the game, realized they couldn't end it in one fell swoop, tried to do it again, and then they forgot to check for Chibi's position, but the innate advantage that they got from the early slow ball was enough. Even when you look at the turret damage, right, majority of it came from Nets and Zorn, but also how they manipulate the minion wave. A lot of times, Nets doesn't even finish off the structures. He sets up a big wave and then let the minion wave do it. Zorn pulls him to join potential team fights. That's how Homeboys have been navigating around the map.
It's a very smart play. It takes a little bit of finesse to be able to pull it off. That's why we see only the top teams here in MPL NY are able to do that macro play consistently. But again, not quite enough because they were too behind at a certain point. I think, unfortunately, when you have a draft like this, where you want to snowball on the Nolan and rely on the Tamus purely as the solo front line, you really need to be ahead. And RSG just denied that win condition from them.
Yeah, and speaking of heals here, like usually when we talk about healing strategies, I feel like Zorn and should be the ones that actually give a little bit of advantage for Homeboys. And they've been healing so much in all these team fights, but at the same time, again, RGMY just had the better focus fire, right? Like they were focused on just taking out one specific hero. Like they have taunts, they have studs, they have repo with poking out a little bit more damage. So in order for Homeboys to kind of come up on that, they need to be able to kill somebody from RGMY. But every single time they tried to make a kill, they just couldn't. There's just so much obstacle that RGMY puts on the table. So eventually, Homeboys has been resetting the fight every single time. And again, even all that, I feel like a lot of these instances came down towards like what, micro pixel seconds, where if Homeboys could have gotten a kill here, Homeboys could have gotten a flank here, maybe if one pixel away, they could have gotten this, maybe one sidestep to dodge that shot coming from Izanami, they could have just won. So I felt like it could have gone either ways, but RGMY definitely, you know, surprised me in this game.
I think also came from the early kill that they got on Zorn. That one landed onto Lolia of all people, so that's extra like 200 plus gold for the Roger. And it doesn't make it any easier when Nets got killed after that, like a few minutes after. And then I think these early snowballs made life pretty hard for Homeboys. They lose an objective, and then Chibi gets found by Lolia of all people. This Roger snowballing was very crucial for RSGMY to pull ahead and to slow down this Natan. So I think if not for all these early sequences, perhaps Homeboys would have had a slightly better game. All things considered though, I'm surprised Sepat took like what, 232,000 total damage.
The Tamas is still very reliable, but you can't expect him to be the only frontliner unless he's a super ahead, and that was not the case in this game. Despite that, Sepat still provided a good amount of space, a good amount of time. If not for him tanking all the damage, then the game would have ended a lot sooner in favor of RSG. You can see here in the highlights, brought to you by official gaming phone ROG, that the early game did not go well for the Homeboys. RGMY had a game plan, they stuck to it, and it worked for them.
You know, it's interesting to see how Repo plays the Edith, right? Like normally you would flicker forward, try to go in for the second skill to pull somebody back and then stun, but sometimes he flickers forward, goes for the first initial stun, and then uses the second skill to set up for either Storm or even Venogo to chain up the stun. So that was a very interesting integration. I've never seen it before, but for him to pull it off just like that, just extending those durations is just insane.
Yeah. I think this sequence is also very important because a couple of seconds before this, I think 15 seconds before this, Lolio tried to dive Nets, and Nets survived with a sliver of health. If Nets went down, I think this game ends right then and there. But the fact that Nets survived allowed him to pull off that comeback and extend this game, and even to the point where Homeboys were able to somehow steal the Lord. But again, RCMY has so much crowd control that you really just could not move.
Yeah, look at this Chibi. Like the moment Venogo gets on top of him, boom, he gets one shot at as well. Nets, he tried his best as well, but eventually it was just so difficult. And again, look at this Chibi. The moment they get on top of him, there's just no way out. Like just so much CCs coming in from RGMY.
And without any additional form of setup, just relying on the Tamas to eat damage in the front line, Chibi, the moment he gets caught, it's all over for him. There's no way to save him. And although there were great moments like before where Nats was able to Wind of Nature, the Appraiser's Wrath, once he got caught out, once Chibi got sniped by Izanami,
unfortunate.
The game was over despite Homeboys' best efforts.
Like, it felt like they were able to get out already. They tried all their best here, but the moment Chibi died there, that was over. Like, if Chibi survived this, I'm pretty sure RHMY would not have been able to clutch the game. But again, this comes down to my my prediction, right? It's like, what if, could've, should've, one pixel away, it could have gone either ways.
I think RHMY just performing at their maximum capacity, right? Everyone talked about, well, before the season started, they talked about Prime RSG. And then as the regular season happened, people started joking about it. Wow, is this Prime RSG? I think right now, they are definitely hitting their strides, especially after yesterday where they beat T-Mark 3-1. This first game is giving us a very good gauge of RSG-MY's headspace, but can they keep it? Because I think Homeboys are about to wrap it up for game 2.
Yeah. One thing that has separated the top teams here, SRG, Homeboys, compared to everyone else throughout the regular season is, again, how quickly they adapt when they're put in a tough situation, whether it be in the game or out of the game. And we've already seen Homeboys display this many, many times. RSG needs to keep on their toes to make sure that they don't fall behind in that regard, because I'm pretty sure going into game number 2, there are going to be adjustments based on what happened in game 1.
Yeah, and seeing how RGMY was playing that game here yesterday, it felt like I had a little bit weird section coming from them, considering that they struggle a bit with Team Ha, but today completely revamped. It's just different here. But of course, that's our opinions from the casters here. I'm curious to see what Rose has to say, as we are going to be having an interview with her as well as you guys on the stage.
Terima kasih kepada caster-caster kita. Hai semua, this is Rose once again. Dan sekarang, saya bersama dengan Homebois Syndicate. So first of all, hello semua. Can you please introduce yourself? Kita start with you dulu. Apa nama? You main role apa?
Saya Shin, saya main role God Lane.
Oh, God Lane.
Saya Kogoro, mid lane.
Mid lane.
Saya Minzal, saya main role Roamer.
Roamer, alright. Okay, so kita cerita sikit. So first of all, congratulations sebab you guys are the first runner-up kepada MAL musim pertama, which is Homebois Syndicate. Now, let's start with you dulu. You main gold lane kan? So, sebagai satu gold laner, how different is it and main dekat MAL because it's both offline and online. So, adakah masa grand finals tu you guys macam tunnel vision sikit ke sebab pressure, sebab environment lain kan? And you prefer main online ke offline?
Kalau saya suka offline sebab lagi tercabar. Lepas tu lagi best lah.
Lagi best. Okay, you pula. You rasa you love the crowd ke? You suka main dalam senyap-senyap, it's quiet, then you can focus?
Bagi saya offline lah. Offline better. But some players mesti ada isu dengan stage fright dan sebagainya.
Yes.
So untuk semi pro level ni saya suggestkan diorang buat offline. At least nanti kalau diorang ada terpilih untuk masuk ke MPL, diorang tak adalah takut sangat.
Saya pun sama. Saya suka bermain offline.
Oh, okay. We can see that Homebois Syndicate dorang lagi suka offline tournament. So, I don't think them being nervous on stage masa Grand Final 2 was the problem. Alright. Continuing with that, okay. Adakah Homebois Syndicate sudah cari problem yang you guys faced masa korang lawan Todak Legion di Grand Finals, ataupun korang masih lagi tengah bincang, or you know what, you guys are gonna like break sikit, calm down sikit otak, bincang maybe after a week or two so that you guys boleh prepare untuk MAL yang seterusnya?
Untuk problem yang kita orang hadapi dekat Grand Final tu, sebenarnya kita orang dah kenal pasti, which is the communication problem, and some of our player pun ada seorang yang stage fright. So bagi saya, kita akan fix problem tu dari masa ke semasa dan provekan untuk season depan, insyaAllah.
Wow. Okay, now let's talk about MPL pula. Kita dari tadi cakap pasal MAL. Now, MAL you guys dapat tengok dan you guys watch the game 1 mana RSG, we can say, actually dominated game 2. So, you rasa apa yang RSG dapat buat pada masa early game to secure that win lawan Homebois?
Mungkin pada first turtle. Kalau first turtle tadi tu membuatkan RSG boleh invade jungle Nolan semua.
I see. So it's more towards the early game lose, so that apa ni macam Homebois dah tak boleh catch up dengan momentum RSG sebab diorang dah terlalu snowball. Is that what you're trying to say? Yes. Okay, now dekat MPL, I suka tanya orang ataupun guess I pasal prediction dorang, score dorang. So, let's start with you. You dah pegang mic dah. You rasa best of 5 series ni habis dengan skor berapa? 3-1, 3-0, 3-2?
Homebois akan comeback 3-1.
Wow! Dah tak bagi skor langsung dekat RSG. Okay, you?
3-1.
3-1? Siapa?
Homebois 3.
Oh, risau sikit. Okay, you?
3-1 Homebois.
3-1 Homebois. Okay, kalau menang ni diorang akan jumpa Selangor Red Giants esok. Boleh menang tak?
Boleh.
Skor?
4-3.
Oh. Belum lagi.
BO5.
Best of 5.
3-2.
3-2.
3-2.
3-2. Wow, pasal SRG diorang sengit sikit. Alright, first of all, thank you so much to Homebois Syndicate. And now, mari let's show it back to the casters for them to goreng-goreng apa yang kita cakap kat sini. So casters, silakan.
Thank you very much to Rose as well as the players from Homebois Syndicate for some very interesting insights about this very intense game between the Homebois and RSGMY. We're going to be jumping into game number 2 very, very soon. We already talked about how we think there's going to be adjustments for sure. But do you have any more concrete examples of what we might see, Husky?
I think looking at the draft, I think last time when Homeboys went up against RSG, we saw a lot of like Novaria bans. Faramis was banned by, I believe, RGMY in game number 1 because Udio does play a mean Faramis. So I'm expecting these utility mages to be prioritized. I think after the game 1, we might see the Novara being targeted a bit more. And Homeboys switching for a draft and putting Chibi on a tank jungler.
Ah, boy, it feels like there's so much problems with the team, but let's talk about the keys to victory on how they want to win, because it seems like based on what we've seen so far, the keys to victory from Chibi was to catch Izanami at all costs, and for RG is improve neutral objectives, and of course last one, use any form of psychological warfare. But so first one didn't exactly go too well for Homeboys. Second one from RGMY, Vinogo improved in the first few half, but there were a little bit sloppy moments there. But the last one, was there any psychological warfare in that game?
I mean, both teams are just trying to recall in each other's faces.
A little bit. There was a little bit.
It's just a little bit.
Right? Because we already highlighted before the match started. We got Rippo, we got Udil. To some extent, we got Zorn as well, Storm. I think all of them do like to say their piece when they're up on stage. But when we're in game, you can tell that both sides are very focused, right? There's not a lot of time to just apply that psychological warfare. It's all about improving, identifying their flaws, and I think we are going to see a very different game number 2. I do agree with the things Husky pointed out earlier, but how about you, Terrence? What do you want to see?
I think that's the thing, right? Like, based on yesterday's game so far, it feels like they apply psychological warfare through drafts, like specific targeted bans, etc., and they force people to pick heroes that you know for a fact that they want, but denying it away. So those kind of, that for me is psychological tactics for me. So in this case, I haven't seen it yet between both these teams, and that's something that I feel like RSG, MY, and Homeboys is they have to show a little bit more before we kind of figure out what they're intended. Because from Zorn, from even Chibi as well, usually we expect a lot of recalls, but it didn't really happen at all for game 1. It just shows you that they were feeling pressured to a point that they can't even bother about other people. They need to focus on how they themselves first.
I think the bans also tells us a very good indicator of what RCMY has identified as core issues. Remember the Arlet ban that Zorn and Sapat could use? I think RCMY taking that out was a big pillar of what enabled Homeboys to make these aggressive moves. A lot of attention probably will be focused in that mid lane, because what sets Udio and Izanami apart is certain heroes, right? Like Udio, he sometimes, when push comes to shove, he's going to go for artillery mages, he's going to go for more aggressive, more offensive types of heroes, but Izanami, he's fine playing utility. Perhaps that could be the biggest difference maker. I think that mid to Roma relationship might just be the key to both teams in game 2.
We've seen that interaction be very crucial, not just between these two teams, but between almost every team here in MPL MY. That mid-roam interaction is important to cement that early game lead. Zorn and Noodle do it well enough. I think we definitely saw a good connection between Storm and Izanami previously, but keeping it consistent gonna be the most important thing. As now, we're actually going to ask
Well, we've got a WhatsApp coming from Shamilo. We asked him who will create the snowball effect in Homeboys. He said actually Roma has the biggest responsibility because he will create chaos in the jungle and his jungler will get to farm. His gold laner has always have space to farm. So appreciate your Roma, especially Zorn. You're the best. Unfortunately to say, him playing on the Matilda didn't exactly do that job. Like, again, I feel like Zorn and Yums has very, very similar playstyles and habits that Enchanter heroes doesn't suit these two guys for some reason.
I mean, Yums won with the Matilda, so...
Well, he did, but still, I like them being flashy, you know?
I see where you're coming from, definitely. Because these are players that are known for being set-up tanks, for being the players that create flashy plays, create space, create catches, and you don't quite get that on Enchanter supports. There's people who are going to make that work. We see Yums being able to play both sides of the coin, but depending on that situation, you definitely wish you had a second front line or something for the side of Homeboys to maybe save people once they get caught.
Yo, what's happening with Homeboys here? Seems like they're meditating or something. Like everybody's got their eyes closed. What's going on?
Hey man, you gotta be in Zen mode, right? You gotta reset for game 2. Game 1 was as good. I feel like if you're Homeboys and you lose game 1, you don't really feel too bad about it, right? Considering the circumstances you were put under, it still came that close. Game 2 though, we talked about the roamers, playmakers. I want to look at the top 3 comparison in the jungler for now. Super Ken from Bigatron, Imperial ID, Chibi from Homeboys of course, and Kao TZ from Liquid Echo.
Well, when we talk about the GPMs here, obviously Chibi's got to be the top of the GPM, right? He broke record breakings with his Nolan here, so he's going to be very heavily inflated. But in terms of overall damage, he is also the highest. So it just shows you that he's very, very precise on dealing a lot of damage to get what he wants. But again, will that be at the cost of his own death?
Yeah. The thing about these statistics is that we are seeing a lot of these top junglers across different MPLs play more utility roles, right? I think Call TZ especially is a prime example. He sets things up, he front line, he does what is necessary to secure objectives, farm, and space for the team. But around here in MPL-NY, our players still want to be able to create pressure, wants to have their presence seen, especially Chibi. He was still around during that hyper carry assassin era. That is his route. So he still wants to be able to do some DPS, right? So we'll see whether they go for that. We're gonna jump into game number 2, RGMY on the blue side. We got Homeboys on the red.
Oof, Nolan being first phase ban from RSGMI, they definitely shift their focus on the bans here, because I'm pretty sure Homeboys was still experimenting with the Nolan here, but again, this time they don't really want to risk it, so Homeboys, they ban off the Luo Yi. Do they ban the Novaria and Chips as well? No, they still ban the Yu Zhong.
I like this Yu Zhong ban. I think some teams have started to respect the Yu Zhong ban, depending on who you're up against. I think against RSG, against KGE, Yu Zhong is a very crucial ban because they have the tendency to pick it in the first 3 picks. We've even seen teams pick it in the first 2 picks on red side. Now for RSG, the question is it going to be another Faramis ban? Because that was their 3rd ban in game 1.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go for that, personally. Denying team fight potential from the Homeboys is going to be a winning strategy for RSGMY so far, especially since Homeboys is banning Loi and Yu Zhong as well. It seems very clear that they want to fight, right? They want to draft a composition that is going to go for these skirmishes. Oh, they banned the Harif instead.
Yeah, wow. So I'm surprised that RSGMY, first of all, banned Harif on blue side. Second of all, even considered banning Harif because Lo Liao, he would be glad to have the Harif. I know his Chrono Dash shield got kind of tuned out a little bit, but still, this is quite an unexpected development.
Oh.
Unless they want to Faramis first pick, but it wouldn't make much sense.
They want to first pick Moscow.
Yeah, I suppose so.
They don't mind the Faramis because if Homeboys goes for it, they can pick Valentina.
Yeah, you have a point.
It's tough. Like, I feel like Moscow should be a priority for both sides, but again, they haven't really done that so far. And I feel like RGML plays really well with Novaria.
Yes.
So, and
I like this ban.
Yeah.
I like this ban. It's very important for Homeboys to consider banning out the Novaria. That has caused them so many problems in game 1.
Always on the way.
So they take the Matilda this time.
Oh, really?
Okay, Matilda slits through, so RGMY, they will secure it. Homeboys, do they want to deny the Barrage, or will RGMY still pick it? Because the way how Homeboys did it in game 1 was that they picked the Matilda, but instead of going for the Barrage, they actually stole the Nolan instead. So
Fredrin.
Yeah, you go Fredrin here.
Okay,
I think you go Fredrin.
Yeah. Homeboys go Fredrin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because for RGMY, I don't think you're worried about gold laners. Like what like if Homeboys takes Moskov, you have Natan and vice versa, right? And we saw Lo Liao play Roger gold lane. So Fredrin, Faramis, I think this one is very much expected. The Homeboys special with Udio around.
So RSG will likely want to lock in Valentina here. That's the whole reason they were okay with allowing Faramis through. And if they still want the Moskov or the Natan, then this would be the time to pick it up. Leaving the EXP lane is going to be quite important because honestly, Rippo has been popping off this playoffs.
Yeah, man is on form. What did he say yesterday? Like he didn't have much practice and he was still kind of ripping it at Team Hawk.
It's the family buff.
It is the family buff.
Family man. Nothing beats family.
Give it Terizla now. Give it Terizla.
Everything. But in this case, they go for the Natan as well as Valentina. So that's something They completely not show who their jungler is for now from side RSG and MY. Like I thought it's gonna be Barats. I guess RSG and MY is thinking from a perspective where I don't think Vinogo is gonna be playing Barats, because think about this, right? Vinogo's performance on the Barats this past few, I don't think he played one yesterday. Hasn't been great from what I remember.
Yeah,
But-
Burst has definitely fallen off the
Yeah.
meta a bit.
So for him to play something else, it feels like, what is Vinogo gonna play as a tank jungler besides Barats at this stage?
Hey, Jungle Natan, man, you never know.
Serious Vinogo jungle
Nah.
assassin? I don't see it though.
I would say even if RSG goes for the tank junglers, Homeboys have already covered that base, right? They picked the carry, and with Fredrin and Faramis around, this carry has a lot more room to breathe. But I feel like Homeboys' focus in second phase, probably you'll be looking at Ripple's hero pool instead of Vinogo.
I agree.
It's more pivotal to shut down Ripple's hero pool. What is that? That's Kufra, right?
Yeah, that's Kufra for sure.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Repeat.
the ult. It's the Tyrant's Rage.
Oh, only
Okay.
Kufra does that. you know?
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Only Kufra reaches out and gives you a big hug.
If that's your definition of a hug, man, you
It's
need
a
help.
It's a painful hug.
Well,
Do you need some help?
I understand that.
I need a hug.
Like pain. Oh, it's okay. I'll give you one. I know what happened.
Alright, this
I
just
know
turned
what
sad.
happened.
This just
Alright.
turned very sad.
So we got the Lapu ban. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they are going to be focusing mostly on EXP laners. Lapu, Paquito, Terizla, Tamus, all going to be points of contention. Don't know if we'll focus on the Edith again.
I'm really surprised that Homeboys let the Moskov through, considering how popular Moskov has been in the past few days, right? Like every single team has been playing the Moskov as a priority, and Homeboys just completely lets it through. So I can see that Homeboys is picking the carry, anticipating that RGMY is going to be taking a tanky jungler, which personally I feel like I don't like this at all. Like, why would you let the Moskov through? Like, why?
I mean, from banning the Moskov to
Like,
Would you
why would you not choose the Moskov and just choose a carry right from get-go, blind into whatever RSGMI is bringing?
I mean, I suppose what Homeboys is thinking right now is that since RSGNY is not showing the jungler, they are going to be prioritizing that in the second phase. We let tank junglers through, and we have a way to deal with it. That's probably the mindset that they have, and I don't blame them, right? Again, you need to focus on Ripple's hero pool. I like the Terizla and Lapu ban. Now, we probably have the X-Brock left, but then again, Homeboys have priority.
What would Homeboys want to first pick, right? Considering if they really want to limit down the EXP hero pool, again, a safe choice when you don't know what the enemy EXP laner is, something like the Tamus. We could go for the Sepakito just to deny it from Rippo too.
I was expecting Sepakito like the first game, but this game, it feels like right now it's more on Zorn on what he's gonna play, right? Is he gonna still stick with the enchanters here? RGMI pretty much takes away two of his signature ones, so even if he plays Cho, it's not that important, right? His early game impact is gonna be very, very important. It comes down to a lot of micro catches, but the moment this game drags out to his ultra late game, Zorn is gonna melt so quick compared to other tanks.
I'm looking at, if you want Cetus, you have Mino and Tigreal. They might just go back to Cho, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that is a pocket pick that Homeboys can always rely on. Enchanters, Florian, I guess.
Do they want to force the Kufra on him? Like, I don't think so, right?
Ooh,
It
that's
hasn't been all that
Yeah.
good recently.
It's
Like,
not that great.
as much as I want to see like Zorn Cho, I feel like it's not going to be quite as good.
Oh, there it
Well, he
They
still
really
does
stick for
it.
it.
Yeah.
He has to.
I felt like if he kicks someone, they can get pulled out by the guiding winds. But hey, it's the signature. We hear the crowd screaming already with the Zorn Show, so why not?
He has to dominate the early game, considering like the first game wasn't in his pool, right? Like, he's playing Matilda, he tried to be aggressive, got first blood right from the get-go, and ever since that point, RGMY is just pulling the fact that Zorn cannot play aggressive, and that's a big nuisance where a lot of teams, when they face Homeboys against Zorn, they find him extremely annoying.
Yeah, I think people feel like he is very menacing. It's because he exudes so much confidence, right? Like, you see his jungle, his Cho back there, his Cho Arlet, he's always in your face, and that kind of scares people away. But I think teams have evolved to deal with it. You want to come into my jungle, we'll fight you and we'll kill you instantly. And Export, because it's not banned out, RCNY gets it, is great against, Fredrin, short range heroes like Carry, even Faramis is not that bad. But it really comes down to whether Homebois can have Zorn make these early pickoffs, because I think that's very important to stall the game out for Nets carry.
I can't believe they actually doubled down after seeing the carry on towards a tanky composition. And now RGMY
yes.
has got so much tankiness.
There it is.
Homeboys, they can actually cut through with this round.
The Benedetta, I was suspecting it when we saw the X-Borg matchup. This will allow Sapa to extend some pressure across the map and play for macro, even if Homeboys find themselves in a sticky spot. But I'm not too worried in this game for them, because RSG actually doesn't have a lot of hard setup since they got the Baxia and the X-Borg. All initiative is gonna be on the Homeboys side.
Yeah, and most likely Izanami is just going to take the Nether Realm. I don't see him taking the choke kick anytime soon unless he wants to make some crazy plays. But when we go to the late game, Loliel Natan is the Tigers carry.
Well. Let that be known. The champions, the defending champions going up against a former champion. What a turn of events here at the playoffs, day number 2. We're heading into game number 2 for RSGMY versus Homeboys to fight on who will advance to the upper bracket finals to fight Selangor Red Giants. And currently, RGMY a game ahead.
We already talked about the possible adaptations. We figured Homeboys will go for tank jungle. They'll switch Zorn to more of a setup style tank, and that's exactly what has happened. So now we'll find out whether or not the changes we suggested will be enough to allow Homeboys to even things up against RSGMY.
Well, at least Zorn won't get first blooded, not with RSGMY's current draft. Although he does not bother going in for an invade. It's more about trying to set up for this mid side. And Izanami knows this. Oh wow.
Okay, Udil right in front of Gretgo. Izanami now getting harassed here. This is the Homeboys we know. This is the aggression. And now they're gonna go a little bit more here. Vinogo looking to try and intercept this. He wants to get a kill on Zorn, but no, actually he focuses on Udil instead. He's gonna be able to get out. Here comes the Stampede. He's gonna pull Vinogo across the wall. Nope, not gonna be enough, but he's taking too much damage. He needs to get out. Vinogo is getting pinned. Mistakes were made. Homeboys, you can't run. Got a little bit greedy from Vinogo. Gets punished. And now Udil flickers forward with a double kill. Signature for Ramis.
I just want to say RSGMY, there's a mechanical misplay, not by Vinogo, but by Izanami. He thought that he could get out of Udil, get away from Udil, but he didn't purify when the first Spectre Stampede lashed onto him, and that completely messed up the momentum before Vinogo even joined the fight. And because Izanami didn't have much health, he didn't want to commit, and Vinogo ended up going down.
Yeah, it's not often we see mechanical mistakes from a player like Izanami, but Homeboys being able to force their hand. And you cannot underestimate Zorn on show, man. He knows the ins and outs of this hero by heart. Exactly how much space he can create.
Now, speaking of space now, again, Homeboys now having the advantage. Izanami still not having the 4 yet, means they can take advantage of the Nero's realm right now. Repo already here to try and shove his way through Zorn. He has the kick. Does he go for it? Izanami steals the Nether realm. Does he go for it? Vinogo not gonna be able to make in time. So Homeboys, they get in, they get out safely.
Yeah, I like the fact that RSGMY is not gonna decided to not commit to that. It's not really worth it. Just play the lane, stem the bleeding. Sure, Udil got 2 kills. That's a bit of a headache, but it's not the end of the world. The rest of your side laners can still catch up. You need Loliel to have a good time.
Oh, I'm noticing Loliel actually quite behind on EXP, actually. A full level behind on Nets, even though the number of minions in their lane are equal. So Nets has done some minion management shenanigans here to deny that from him, and that's going to be great. Homeboy is already with 1k net worth start.
Okay, Loliel and Triffy at the last second as well.
Oh,
That's
here he comes.
pushing in, but now he's got to be recalling his way through. Homeboys, they want to dive this. They know they can. They've got Nether Realm. Loliel's has got nothing. His trap is gone. They're mocking him. They're taunting him. What were you thinking, Loliel's?
And they even purposefully give the last hit to Nets as well. Homeboys are feeling good.
What a catch. And now they even find Izanami. Homeboys, they strike back. Game 1.
Mechanical misplays, man. The misplays are coming out.
Was that Shadow Stampede like perfectly pulling him into the mid line of Fraser's Wrath?
Yeah, he didn't even... I feel like he had time to use the Nether Realm, but decided against it because he was going to die anyways. But still, Izanami getting a bit sloppy after that first blood. not really looking too good thus far. This jungle compromise.
Yeah, now continuing the assault. 3 minutes in, Vinogo is 1 level away. We've seen this before from the previous game. Vinogo is getting talked about. Does he win the retry battle? He doesn't. He's gonna try and retaliate, but he needs to get out. And Homebois, again, look at this, the confidence. This is the Homebois we know. This is what we like. This is what we enjoy.
They didn't get a single chance to recall spam in game number 1, and here 4 minutes into game number 2, we've already seen enough to make up for both games. Homebois are firmly in the driver's seat, already nearly a 3k lead with only 4 kills. Their control over the map is already solidified.
Yeah, and seeing how Circling Eagle comes in, Nats, he's getting bursted down, but again, he's so far off.
Oh my
goodness!
But Nats, he finds the damage. He will solo kill here. And Lolios, where were you running? Going to purify but the kick from Zord will help Nats secure the kill. He will find him, but Izanami is here to turn it away as well. Zord versus Izanami. Udio comes to save the day. He might die. Last thing, no, he survives. But Izanami is not out of it yet.
That's how you do it. You press the purify.
Oh, no. Oh my goodness, waste the time here. Homebois.
Yep. You press the purify before the Shadow Stampede pulls you. That is the only way to avoid getting dragged back by the Firemen. Even then, it really doesn't matter to Homeboy. Sure, our carry went down, but guess what? He just solo killed their roamer and their gold laner.
That's a win in my books, and I'm sure it's a win in theirs as well. They pick up yet another turtle in their hands. Homeboy's looking way different in this early game compared to previous GB. I think he did he? No, he did not steal that. Vinogo still got his purple buff. But you can see the pressure that Homebois is exerting now.
Well, the level disparity is starting to pile on. Sepa now scouts out too. He's forced to back off, but again, do they want to go in for the fights here? Chibi already starting with the recall, looking for 1v1s. Repo looking to take that fight. Zord as well. He actually catches with no-go. He's looking for the kick. Does he go for it? He's baiting. No, not gonna happen. But he baited out the Tortoise Massage. That's good for Homebois.
This jungle, I'm not sure how RGMI is gonna protect this.
Oh no, the taunt is an army. He might be dead. He's gone. Appraisal draft. He's
No, he
GG. Oh, mistakes were made, but no-go left him alone. And now, here comes the collapse. NetherRealm keeps Homebois alive, but the export from Repo were able to find one. Chibi is down. Udil also next to fall.
Oh, thank goodness that amounted to something. Izanami still does not use the NetherRealm that he stole. Ate the appraisal's breath and went down. I feel like if you know you're gonna go down, you might as well use it to buy some time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was chain CC'd or something, but RGMY are at least able to get something back there. Narrow the net worth lead just a little bit and punish Homebois for overstaying their welcome. Yes, they have the NetherRealm, but RGMY does have a good amount of just consistent DPS overall. So Homebois needs to not make mistakes like that, and RSG need to continue to try and create some pressure across the map.
Sabat gets a free tier 2, so that's huge for Homebois. Meanwhile, another retro battle comes in. Vinogo actually secures it, so despite the level disparity, he's been on point on this retribution battle, sir. But again, they're holding on for the middle turret here. Udil's NetherRealm gets stolen by Izanami. Zorn is making the play, he's looking for it, but they can't find him yet. Vinogo looking to catch somebody, but it's going to be a stalemate for now for both sides.
RGMY ideally want to be able to contest this turtle. Not too sure if Izanami does have NetherRealm stolen, so they can at least put up a fight somewhat. A 3k net worth difference at this point is notable, but not too significant yet. It's just the problem is Homebois is positioning a little bit too good. RSG cannot find any angle of approach.
It's reached a point where RGMY are literally sticking together. This is the scenario that Homebois want to condition RGMY to be in. Your export can be in the same lane as the Benedetta. Nowhere is safe. If you are not together as a team, we can easily pick you apart with our Cho.
Now Zorn taking a lot of damage here. Udil also looking for to fight this ball. Meanwhile, they're all split up. They have to make a decision eventually. Homeboy secures a retreat. Okay. Not this time, Vinogo. Not this time.
And he makes it known too. It's just a little bit of spam recalling to make it known that he has successfully stolen a buff this time. RGMY slowly falling further behind in that net worth gap. 4,600. Nearly 9 minutes in is not a good look for them.
Yeah, but this time, this purple buff retri battle here, both sides doesn't have the retribution yet. It comes down to the stalemate. Cho going for the kick here. Zorn hasn't been able to do too much. Chibi looking for the fight, but Serpad with the lethal final blow. Seems to be a little bit scary. Hightails out of there.
And thankfully, Venogo got the purple buff, so she saves some XP, but doesn't change the fact that Homeboys have control over this game. All tier 1s down, only the tier 2 mid is left. In RCMY, they need a lot more time. Lo Liao becomes their insurance plan, just like game 1, but this time it's RCMY that needs the Natan.
It's tough. Now Udil looking for the pullback. They are trying to chip out the Firaga armor. And it doesn't go away, but they bait out the insanity. And look at this, Homeboys. They know it was intended. They're looking for base. It's Zanami. Nether Realm still has, but Homeboys, oh my goodness, the mind games is happening. RGMY, they're slowly crumbling. Do they take the bait?
That's an instant recall to get your Firaga armor back. You cannot afford to not have it for this next Lord.
This is literally what we talked about during the keys of victory too, right? That psychological warfare. I feel like Homeboys took that game 1 defeat a little bit personally here, and they are making it well known their disdain for their rivals on the land of Dawn right now. The war gonna be contested once again. Can RSGMY actually find a space?
Okay, finally the kick comes in, but the NetherRealm will keep Venogo alive here. The Toys Person is there by so low. Appraisal drop on Chibi. Seems to be not able to deal with Venogo. He's gonna be A-okay, but they focus Chibi down. Homeboys, he overextended and mistakes were made, and now RGMY, can they reset in time for the Lord fight?
That's the NetherRealm you need from Izanami. Saving Venogo right before he gets taken out. The Appraiser's Wrath, surprisingly from Chibi, didn't do enough to not only take down Venogo, but not enough to heal him back up, and that kill was important. Wish he would have went over to Lo Liao instead of stole him though.
If that was anyone besides Venogo, it would have dealt enough damage based on the health percentage, but Homeboy's still gonna continue fighting.
What is the damage from Nets as well as a Ghostbuster?
What?
Nets!
You're kidding me!
the Lord! RSGMY with the Lord Storm, and now Serpa looking to turn the tide. He gets one, but he drops everyone from RSGMY low. Homeboys.
How did Venogo not press his retribution? Was it crowd control? I need an instant replay on that.
But now Lolios with the Purify, he needs to get out as well. Venogo is getting taunted his way through, but they need to get him out to safety. Homeboy, 6k network lead. Now, with the Lord crashing in, do they fight this here? But it is only the first Lord, so it's not that much of a deal. So this inhibitor will still stand. Homeboys has to take this on a different level.
This has turned out very differently from what we saw in game number 1. Homeboys, they're a team that once they have an early lead, they're never gonna really let go of it. And even the AI winning prediction gonna show that 86% in favor of the Homeboys. Chibi spam recalling right outside their base when the purple buff is standing right behind him and he could be farming it. But this is a much more important use of his time.
Yeah, purple buff can wait. Buff is temporary, recall is forever.
I think they're just straight up holding hostage to the purple buff, right? Like, instead of just starting here, right now, they're looking to try and jeopardize this. It feels like RGMY. Oh, okay.
He gets it.
No,
wow.
No way.
Told you, man.
Like, I don't know where this confidence is coming from, but with that play, forcing a retro just like that, and Venogo not using it, I feel like Venogo is the most affected in this game right now.
Yeah, I mean, missing that retreat was that was almost lethal. That was disaster if you're RGMY. That was your ticket back into the game to put it back to an even state. Now they're gonna play from behind again. Venogo needs time to catch up.
GB, two-man taunt, still looking for Venogo. He's getting chipped away a little bit here, but I like the final blow from Serpat. Catches two. NetherRealm keeps him alive here. Lulio is dropping a little bit low, but Lulio finds Serpat, so that's huge for RGMY. Homeboys now, they have to run away. Storm is going for the stuns here. Homeboys needs to run. And again, the RSGMY somehow miraculously finds a random kill because of the Entropy's range.
Yeah, and because of the NetherRealm, again, NetherRealm so crucial for Izanami. He purified at the third proc of the Jeet Kune Do, and that allowed him to not only avoid getting knocked out, but the kick also was not as effective as Zorn would have liked it to be. And his NetherRealm afterwards, again saving his teammate Lo Liao. He is waking up. He is about to really hammer down Homebois in these team fights.
Well, Lil and Nat have both been able to farm fairly safely this game, but we know that Nathan right now in the meta scales very well in comparison. Udil currently at the top of the damage dealt ranking, but Lolil only right behind him. And
oh my god, Lolios with the aggression makes a play. Support gets taken out, and now RSGMY is able to push Homebois back. What a comeback coming in from them, and now Homebois, they lose an inhibitor, and you can see the silence coming in from the crowd. Absolutely at awe at what's happening to Homebois.
All right, this is it. This is the Lord fight. It's either you win the Lord fight, or better yet, you wipe Homebois again. Support will be back for this Lord. Homebois have one last chance.
The disbelief in the eyes of everyone as RSGMY looking to fight the Lord. Homebois, they need to throw everything here. Nets taking so much damage from Lolios, and now the last Insanity coming in as well. They force the NetherRealm, but can they survive? No, they lose the Lord. Now Chibi needs to get out, and he's going to be able to do so. But the Lord in the hands of RSGMY. And again, absolute silence from the crowd.
That is so nice. All the waves. The bottom wave was just pushing. So Lo Liao gets this tier 1. He might not get the tier 2 for now, but the Lord is going to come up top. Homebois will need to deal with that. RSGMY, despite missing the first Lord, have now completely recovered. Lo Liao, critical mass, full items.
The net worth lead that Homebois built up for themselves early on has been completely negated. RSGMY recognizing that they are now stronger in these team fights, and Lolil showing that confidence by being the first one to initiate as well, relying on Storm to make sure he never goes too far. This could be huge structural damage in favor of RSG.
Yep, and now look at this. They're going to try to make a jam on GB as well. There's no turret here. They're going to try and catch him as well. But last Insanity comes in, trying to zone off Zorn. Zorn, he's taking a little bit too much damage. He's going to be able to flicker out of there. So for now, Reset comes in. Electro final blow, clears the minion, but Sapat in trouble. Is a lot of damage. Oh, chill boy. You need to get out, but Inhibitor will fall. RSGMY now continues their assault. Homebois, they have to make some sort of play. They don't have ultimates now. Nets also not having the ultimates. Homebois now slowly losing the inhibitor. Big stun here coming in. GB will fall to the Leos. What a snipe is Anami with the NetherRealm, and now the Insanity comes in, drops onto Udil, drops on Nets. They get the reset, but RSGMY, they're not done yet. They're taking so much damage. Lolios is still alive. He's got immortalities. They need Chibi. The crystal slowly falling apart. Suppa drops the Electro final blow. He dies. He goes down, but he will clear the minion. Lolios! Lolios! What a play from the man, the myth, the legend, RSGMY is defying all odds.
Can you believe it? 2-0 in the best of 5 against Homebois.
Silencing the crowd.
What happened to RSG during the break? What did they do? This is a different team. This is a different energy. This is not what we expected. RSG one game away from potentially sending the defending champs to the lower bracket.
Wow, SRG might just get their wish of facing RSGMY tomorrow if this continues. Game 1, early to mid game, pure dominance. Game 2, they were absolutely stopped in their tracks, and they managed to come back, right? Even missing the first Lord of the game.
They made an epic comeback just like that, and the best part is, like, they were playing so well to a point that the fans were just at disbelief, like absolute silence. And it's just, you know, I had goosebumps seeing that when everyone's hopes and dreams just went down like that. And my God, like, it's an experience you just cannot get anywhere else.
Yeah, if you guys want to come and watch and get your hopes and dreams crushed along with the crowd, you guys can check the QR code at the bottom of the screen right now, or look at this link, because we still got playoffs tickets open. We still got day 3, we still got that grand finals, but that ground floor for the grand final already sold out. So if you guys want to catch the show live at MBSJ and not miss out on these tickets, which are selling fast, you guys better check it out as soon as possible.
Yeah. Just want to let you know that it only opens, the terrace seating only opens 11:30 p.m. tomorrow. So better mark down that time.
Yeah, he has to be quick here. But let's take a look at the MVP for that match here. The MVP for game number 2 is going to be none other than Lolius himself, because he was getting big catches all by himself, and he's the reason why RSGMI is able to bounce back from a huge deficit against Homebois.
Telling you, man, when you have a Natan on your team, it's only a matter of time until he hits critical mass and goes nuclear on everyone. Lo Liao. In fact, not just Lo Liao, gold laners have been popping off in this playoffs. Yesterday, we saw Sasa, and today was Innocent and then Lo Liao.
100% kill participation, by the way, on a marksman. 944 GPM, despite RSGMY being behind for most of the first half of that game. Homeboys just didn't pay Lolil enough attention, and he made sure that they were aware of his presence.
Even Zorn went deathless this game, but there's only so much you could do on the show, right? You want to find these crucial targets. It is so hard. I think most of the time you only either find Venogo or Izanami, because Rippo is not someone you want to kick, but Izanami, you know, after some rusty start, he also cleaned up the Purify timing.
Oh boy. I don't know what happened, but it feels like game 1 and game 2, it came down to a situation where either or can win the game. But it feels like, again, it brings up to my question, right? Like I brought this up during the drafts. Like if you bring a Cho, it's strong early, it's strong mid. We saw how Zorn was just super oppressive, but the moment you reach the late game territory, he's not going to be able to survive this. You look how quickly Lolio melts him every single time he tries to make a play. If he doesn't make a play, he missed the first chance, there's no second chance, there's no retakes here. And that's something that I think Homeboys suffered the most in all the scenarios here. They could have ended the game so many times, but again, mistakes were made.
I mean, Lo Liao has higher kill participations than everyone
Yeah.
else. You think that it's the Matilda will also have 100%, but no. Lo Liao finds himself knees deep in every single engagement.
Lolil just farming for most of the early game. He looks behind him, realizes his team is losing, and is like, oh, okay, I'll do it myself. And I think the thing is, I mentioned that I was worried about this Cho pick from Zorn, right? He made it look really good in that first engagement, but when RSG picks up 3 Purifies, their late game scaling is stronger, and Homeboys are wholly reliant on Zorn or Sapat to try and get a catch. They don't have enough tools to actually force out the Purifies and then catch on top of that. RSG just needs to hide behind Venogo and Rippo, who are both doing a great job of frontlining and creating the space necessary. And I just can't believe this is the result.
I'm gonna eat my words very soon. I came into this, I'm like, Homeboy statistically looks
We
a
all
bit more
did.
polished.
I was expecting that as well. Like I feel like Homeboys had a very strong chance to actually win this game, but now 2 games behind here.
Wow. This would be the greatest reverse sweep.
Like I don't know, is it possible to see a full game 5? Like it might be happening here.
Nothing is ever impossible.
Yeah.
But RSGMY has demonstrated that we were absolutely wrong about Homeboys being the statistical favorites to win this, right? RSG came swinging with a vengeance. They saw all the Homeboys players spam recalling in front of them and took it personally.
I'm not gonna lie, even though Repo hasn't been playing much, but Repo coming back in just made RSGMY look so good.
I'll tell you a crazier fact, right? If RSGMY wins this series, they would have surpassed their results in the last season. Last season they finished 4th. This season they have a chance to finish at least 3rd place. They just have to win this.
And they would be able to return the favor, since last season it was Homeboys who sent them down to the lower bracket.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Homeboys 3-0'd them last season.
I'll do you one better, right? Okay, here's the match history between both RSG as well as Homeboys, right? Homeboys has won 6 out of 10 matches in total, dating back to Season 7 all the way to Season 13 in regular weeks as well as playoffs. So,
Man,
they played all best of 3s. Homeboys has won 6 out of 10. And this is the first ever best of 5 series.
that is crazy. That's crazy. I mean, last year, Homeboys 2-1 RSG in the regular season. I think 2-0'd them in the playoffs, if I remember correctly. But the fact that RSG is about to 3-0 them in the best of 5 for the very first time after so long does make you wonder. I think a lot of doubters about RSG are about to be proven wrong. And I think a lot of RSG fans probably are blowing up the internet right now. What are you recalling, Chibi? You're recalling back to base?
I'm pretty sure the people that are watching at home were like, wait, why does MPLMY feel so quiet? It's not because it's quiet. It's just completely silenced. Shut down.
Every person in this stage is staring at that screen with their mouths agape.
Even RSG fans were like, wow, we won that?
How did that happen?
And that's the thing, right? We're on the English side. Like, we're actually sitting around the Homeboys fans, and it's just ridiculously quiet.
I'm telling you, the Flame Boys fans scare me.
For me, it's like, it's a good play. I'm hyping things up, but at the same time, it's just like, yo, this reminds me of Season 3 when Boss Crew kind of like lost and 80% of crowd just disappeared.
I mean, as long as your card play isn't in the public domain, and you should be fine. They're not gonna find you. We do have the Hall of Fames though. It is all blue. Lodiel, of course, richest guy, Carry, Vanogo, Sandbag, and Stoem, best wingman of this game too.
Loliel was just left alone for so long. I think Homeboys definitely let down their guard. They won the early game so handedly. They figured, there's no way Loliel's gonna be able to have space to farm. We have Sapat splitting the map. Everything's fine. And then everything was not.
And then Sapat gets like two-shotted by Loliel. Ned started dying in fights. Yeah. I mean, if I was in Ned's position, I would be like, alright, this Natan's game is over. I am ahead, guys. I just solo kill him. We're in good hands. In fact, you wouldn't even imagine RCMY making that comeback after losing that first Lord.
We have to take a look very, very carefully, guys, like analysts, colorcasters. I need you guys to watch the replay and find out exactly which moment RSGMY was able to make a comeback, because that should not have been an RSG game.
Alright, bet. I'm gonna pay attention to this. I know for a fact that
it wasn't this game.
It was like the first 12 minutes, it was all Homeboys, right?
Yep.
Could have been 9 minutes, but you know, RSGMY lost the Lord. Homeboys extend the lead. They didn't get an inhibitor. That's the good news for RSGMY. They mounted a good defense because Lodiel was able to get his items, but he had 2 early deaths that was devastating for Natan.
Once Homeboys got that mid lane priority, they started expanding that, ganking the other lanes, creating pressure. But there were also times where I do feel like they overstayed their welcome just a little bit, right? Not in this situation. You can see that Homeboys are still doing well. Nets is out DPSing. They're still able to punish Loliel, punish Stome. Up until this point, it seemed like an obvious Homeboys victory.
Even beyond this point, Homeboys, they were still ballooning that gold lead, right? Like, Izanami got the kill, but look at this, 6 minutes plus, Homeboys, they were invading RSGMY's jungle. And a lot of times they're abusing the fact that Izanami is just not actively using the Nether Realm. He died 2 times without using the Fireman's ult.
Yeah, and even here you can see, like, I think this was a small blunder coming in from Homeboys. They overextended just to kill Izanami, right? So this is a little bit of a saving grace where Loliel was just bashing and bashing, getting so many kills to actually scale back into the later stage of the game. But still, that was a little bit of a small victory for RSG, right? So Homeboys technically still in the lead, still in the driver's seat, and even in this scuffle as well, like, what was going on? Like, I think this was one small mistake. For some reason, Chibi was walking the direction where Storm was able to bring one member to kill him off.
I mean, he was expecting his ultimate to just straight out one-shot Vanogo, right? But Vanogo had the third poison, didn't go down. Homeboys, they still got the Lord, and because of that Lord steal by Nets, they retained that lead. Again, they were not able to take down the inhibitor, and RSGMY, they started catching Sepa. They shut down the side lanes. And I think from that point onwards, Homeboys realized that, man, our side lane control is no longer safe because you have a Natan that is being dragged to our side lanes with a Matilda. You can't run from that.
Yeah, they were relying on Sapat to prolong that game, to play for the macro just in case they fell behind. But I think Sapat also got a little bit greedy himself. He went full damage on the Benedetta, started joining team fights because Homeboys were already on the enemy side of the map, creating space. He got some good Electro final blow catches, but it resulted in him being a little out of position a lot of the time. And without the Benedetta, it becomes more difficult for Homeboys to continue on that fight. We saw that one fight as well where GB for some reason walked super far forward to try and kill the Baxia to the point where they couldn't reach him with the Nether Realm, and then things started turning around completely for
To
RSG.
be honest, I don't really know what happened with RSGMY, but I'm curious to see what happened behind the scenes because after yesterday's games here, I feel like Coach Sora definitely one-upped for the team. Like no one expected RGMY to be so dominating against Homebois, and this time this is the stats coming in from Coach Sora. Most pick here: Frederick, Roger, Valentina. Most ban: Angela, Harry, Farmis, and opponent bans is Matilda, Yu Jong, and Harris. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think the one that stands out is definitely the Yuzhong ban, right? Because Harry, Matilda, Angela, Faramis, these are all very normal bans. The Yuzhong ban is basically because I think it's the same reason as dealing with KGE, where they had the tendency to first face the Yuzhong, and Ripple plays a very mean Yuzhong, and it plays into RSGMY style. They can play fast, they can have all these backline impacts. That's why teams are taking out Yuzhong just like Homebois did in Game 2. But when we saw Sora like last season when he was with Red Esports, we know that this guy he's a genius. He's cooking something, and I'm glad he's able to prove himself with RSG.
Yeah, Sora is a great coach. He's had a long-standing history here in MPL, but never truly found that peak success. And I think like a lot of us, LaFell especially, is a big fan of Coach Sora,
Yeah.
and
He's just
he's
spamming
very
the WhatsApp
happy
chat.
about
It's like,
this.
oh my god, RSG, yeah, that's my in-law. I'm like, great, yeah, Izanami, yeah, great. We know you have a special relationship with him. Shout out to you, Lafel, if you're watching the English broadcast. If you're not watching the English broadcast, you're biased towards the English broadcast. But never mind. Speaking of which here, now let's talk a little bit more in terms of bans, right? It's surprising that Sora has kind of focused so much on banning the Angela. And for this past 2 days, what Angela banned?
I mean, Angela does not really exist in the S tier anymore. I mean, it's same as the Nolan and Barats, right? They've kind of fallen off the tier list, which I'm all for it, right? We get to see a lot more different picks, but it has been 399 days, more than a year since the last Savage in MPL Malaysia.
Man, it has been that long here. The last one being the MPL Malaysia Season 11 playoffs in the hands of Momo, who was playing Martis at the time. And then even before that, it was Season 10 with Chibi and Gary all the way back to when Karina was meta.
I think we had so many close calls for Savage this game. This regular season, we had a lot of maniacs, and even there,
many.
there
That's
were.
so much.
I think there was one unofficial Savage where because he got 4 kills and the time gap in between the fourth and the last kill took too long, and that's why he didn't get a Savage. So.
Unfortunately, it doesn't count, right? You gotta hear the announcer say Savage, and then
I feel old now that it's been 359 days since the last Savage just won, and
okay.
I think I don't know. I feel old now.
Don't worry. I mean, you are aging every second. All right,
That's
all right,
true.
all right, boy. What you got? What's your coolest pose?
We need more cool poses.
Oh, I like this.
Can you do that again?
No,
Yeah, please don't actually.
you missed it.
I'd rather not hear that again.
Why not? Don't you like a little bit of arrr in your life?
Please don't do that again. Let's go into the game here. Game 3. We already talked about the adjustments Homebois need to do for Game 2. They did it. It wasn't enough. So what needs to happen for game number 3 is my question now.
Zor needs to play something that he can play because 2 games now he hasn't.
Wait.
Joe?
Say that again.
No, okay. So Zor needs to play something that he can play that can deal with RSG, and in this case, I feel like banning off strong roamers such as the Edith as well as Arlott is gonna be an awkward spot. Like it doesn't come back. It also comes back to my situation, right? Like earlier the weeks here, we saw a lot of chose coming from SRG. We saw a lot of chose coming from Homebois as well. But when the nerves come in, when the buffs onto his tanks as well as the attack items affected Cho because Cho did not get that defense buff.
That is true. Because he's categorized as a fighter.
So they need to draft Zorn's hero right from the get-go rather than just leaving it for last so that he can be a little bit more flexible.
But there's very less options, right? If you are looking at it at that manner. If the Arlott gets banned now, you're only left with probably Matilda and Minotaur, but no one really first picks Minotaur right now because you're just asking for an X-Proc to get picked.
Learn to play an Enchanter properly.
I feel like it does the job well
We
enough.
have some pretty good enchanters. It's more like, just because they lose doesn't mean it's not played well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
you gotta base it on the gameplay itself. Like in game 1, yes, he went on the Matilda. They didn't end up winning there, but I don't attribute that fully to Zorn either. Just circumstances ended up in that way. For now though, the draft for game number 3, Homebois is going to be on blue side once again, RSG on red side. Homebois still banning the same heroes.
I think we got to recap on how things went down in terms of draft, right? Like the idea that Homebois had with the carry was to deal with the tankiness coming from RSG, but so far the matchups coming in from yesterday, today, and as well as other regions, even in SPS as well, has always been a matchup between Natan, Moskov, Harif, and Roger. And these are the 4 important ones. If it was banned, then sure, I understand it was carry, but for Homebois to not pick the Moskov, which has been a priority for a lot of the other teams here, it just shows you that it's, I don't know, it's weird. For me,
I can't see where you're coming from, right? And it does, and it's not even like it feels like a hero that Nets wouldn't be comfortable with playing, right? It feels like his style of hero, so it does make you wonder a bit, like, yeah, maybe they drafted it to try and counter initially the tank jungle they'd pick up, but it wasn't quite enough.
This could be a Novara angle for RSGMY. You can first pick the Novara if you want to. I think it's either that or the Valentina, considering that the Fredrin was first picked by Homebois, so there could be a Faramis angle for Udyr again. I think RSG has some pretty crucial decisions to make. Let's see, so they take the Moskov for themselves. The turn now left open for Nets to go for. Yep, and they take Novara after Izanami.
Ooh. Alright, RSG going to be playing for that late game here. We got a fun fact. We've already mentioned this a couple times, but RSG was sent to the lower bracket by Homebois in the previous season's playoffs. Will they be able to reverse the fates now? As you can see, Homebois do lock in on the Natan, and they get the Teresa too. Ooh.
Do you export here? Do you just go, do you just go all out and export third pick?
It's weird for Homebois to still keep Zorn's hero again. Like, all RSG needs to do is just pick whatever role they like, and then just start banning off all Zorn's hero.
No, but there usually is a reason why you leave roles like the Roam or the EXP lane for later in the draft. They are very important, pivotal roles, and you need to counter pick.
That's the thing, right? From your perspective, I can see where he's going, but from my understanding of Zorn's hero pool, it's limited already. Like, he's been known to play aggression, and I've not seen him play Enchanter style, right? Like, let me give you an example. Look at how SRG went. Why did they lose the game? Yums is known for his aggression style, played on Rafaela, great, they lost.
You know what? My conclusion is that Terrence is the guy that looks at KD and then uses the KD to decide whether you're a good player or not.
I feel like, yeah.
No, it's more like habits. Like, their player habits doesn't suit an Enchanter. Enchanter are players that play similarly like how a mage positions themselves. But for both Zorn and Yums, they don't play like that.
Sure, I can.
No, not necessarily. I mean, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Though I would say that this Edith pick is genius in a way because Ripple plays it.
Yeah.
Now you have a flex option for RSGMY. I would prefer this Edith in the roam role, but at least RSG, they are opening up options for themselves. Banning the artillery from Homebois. I absolutely love this Farsa ban. I think that Faramis might not be a main concern at this point. You ban the Farsa, you make sure that Udyr doesn't get any long range, doesn't get to provide long range support for his team in these team fights, not when there's Terizla and Natan and Fredrin already.
I think like Faramis could still be worth a ban here because RSG is clearly not going for the Valentina anymore. Like, the NetherRealm is still very scary in the hands of the Homebois, especially now that they straight up have a fighting color.
I think just ban the Faramis, like just make Udyr uncomfortable as much as they can. But Homebois, they banned the Baxia, so that means it is going to be them threatening Vinogo's hero pool a little bit here, forcing to play something else. But what surprises me this time is Matilda completely ignored from both sides now. Oh, wait, sorry, Matilda is banned, my bad, sorry.
It is banned now.
What is Vinogo going to play against a Fredrin, right? Like, we've seen him play Barats, we've seen him play, the Fredrin a lot, but when it comes to succession or win rate percentage, Vinogo has had higher win rates with a Fredrin as well as a Baxia, whereas his Barats and Akai doesn't really do too much.
It can be an option, I think, in this game if you if the Barats gets banned out. RSGMI showing respect to the Cho. I like it. So you ban the Cho out. Considering that we have Edith, right? Like, Edith, regardless in what lane, it's It's a bit of a problem if you get kicked away despite having Primal Wrap, so the Roger ban is just as a failsafe to make sure that Vinogo doesn't run the Roger jungle.
Smart. That's really smart.
So it's Baraz and Akai being the remaining tanks. I don't see any other options for them. Unless they want to bust out the Helcurt, which I feel like it's
They should.
It's a little risky.
it's a bit, it's very, it's good.
We've been hyping up the Helcurt for the longest of time, but we haven't seen it a single time.
If there's one guy to play Helcurt, it's probably Chibi first.
Oh,
yeah, I agree. It was one of his like
Signature.
secret picks.
During season 7 or 8, that was a long
Even
time
last
ago.
season, it was like
Last
the,
season,
yeah.
it was like the Fredrin Buster.
That was when Helcurt was still the old style. He would silence, but
Okay.
All right.
like they'll stick with the Akai. One of the safer options could really open up these team fights as well, since RSG wants to make sure Homeboys cannot play around
So-
that penalty zone.
It's interesting to see a lot of Archives in other regions, or even SPS as well, but it's so rare to see an Archive here in MPLY.
Yeah, it makes it rough for a Fireman's pick, right? Because now there's
Yeah.
ways to split you away from the Nether Realm. Not to mention that heroes like Fredrin absolutely hates Akai. I want to stand still and slam you with my big sword, but now I cannot because you're bumping you away from objectives. In a way, it does the job that Baraz does slightly better, at least from a perspective of displacing your enemies. It
Right.
puts Udio in quite a spot though.
Like Udio is like super serious, and Sword is like smirking at Chibi. It was like, hey man, what's up? Something is up.
So they
But
go
now,
for the Arlet.
go for the Arlet.
Yep.
Okay, Arlet sneaks through the draft, and they also get the Vexana.
Do
So pretty standard drafts coming from Homeboys. I like the draft this time for Homeboys.
you go Terizla here? Not Terizla, sorry, X-Borg. Do you go X-Borg here for Ripple?
Ripple,
I mean-
comfort picks, yeah, they should.
Yeah, I mean, if Yuzhong was not banned now, I would instantly feel like it's a Yuzhong pick. But right now, it's either Paquito or X-Borg. I kind of feel like X-Borg would make slightly more sense.
Yeah, he definitely needs somebody to be the front lines, right? Like Akai isn't exactly the tankiest. Natan does a lot of damage, but again, if you go for the export here, Natan can still shred through the Infragama armor relatively quickly. Which,
Unless you run Ruby again. And then you run like the Ripple Edith XP lane.
yeah, they could go for
Not
it right now.
impossible,
Like,
yeah.
it's not that bad.
Fading away.
Let's see what it is.
Wow! Wow!
No way!
Wow! By the way, the first time we saw this was...
This was yesterday.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday, yes.
Yeah.
But the first time we saw it was in the regular season. I believe at that time it was Niners versus KGE. Barbosa and Moon ran the same draft. There's a different iteration where you run Novaria with the Beatrix, where he has Brenner. But either way, I'm all out for this. If we can't fight you team fight, we poke you from long range.
This is going to be very interesting. RSGMY 1 game away from sending the defending champions to the lower bracket. 1 game away for getting vengeance from the playoffs of Season 12. Can the Homeboys defy this fate? Can they bring it back and show us why they are the favorites of this series?
Well, we shall see. RSGMY, if they 3-0 Homeboys, it is going to be a statement of them being the prime. Ladies and gentlemen, here, match point for RSGMY as we head into Game 3. RSGMY versus Homeboys.
This
Alright.
does indicate something about RSGMY though. It means that their setup heavily relies on Vinogo or Ripple getting a good crowd control, but mainly from Vinogo, because if you are Storm, you are trying to set things up from long range. That means that Zorn, he's probably going to be walking up to Storm and Izanami, and there's nothing much that they could do about it.
Yeah, that's the problem when you have this double mage mid-roam combination. It's going to be particularly weak against these tankier heroes that can dive from the front line. So Zorn wants to try and take advantage of that as much as possible. I'm personally just very curious about how well the Selena Novaria combo will do in that early stage.
I think it's more like when you get your first core item, right? When the Lightning Truncheon comes out for the Novaria, when you are starting to play for Vision, that's where it gets very, very crucial. Comes down to Izanami though, he needs to actively use that Astral Echo, which he has been doing in Game 1.
Well, seems like it's a little bit of an interesting approach this time for RGMY, where Vinogo preemptively waits for the XP lane.
Yep.
What's going on right here? Like, it's a completely different standby here. Middle aggression is still on, coming from Homeboys. RGMY, they anticipated this, but I don't think they can do too much, considering that they've got two mage as, I would say, I don't know, like, who can actually open the map?
It's gonna be up to Rippo and Venogo. The whole reason they are okay with going double mage is because they have Akai and Edith already, so at least they're not just relying on one player.
Oh
But
no, he's dead. Like he might be okay. No, maybe not. Heavy spin comes in. He gets out. All right, sure, whatever.
That means no turtle. That you give turtle away to Homeboys. I don't feel like Venogo can contest this. Even if he tries, it will be a bit hard.
Well, he's thinking here, but setup comes in from the top. Xana as well. S13 barely connects up, but
Oh!
he's dead. First blood for Venogo. No turtle, no problem. I'll get the kill instead. But turtle not even started yet. This is going to be a good time here. RGMI regroups for this fight, but Venogo is solo. He doesn't have retry as well. Can Izanami steal the turtle? He used the Astral Recall already, so nope, not happening.
I think this is wise. RGMI will choose not to contest this. They already got a kill. They know they don't have their resources up. Better to just go back to farming and not interact and give free advantage to the Homeboys.
Yeah, I think Homeboys didn't expect Venogo to stay. They probably thought that Venogo recalled just to reset. And it came pretty close. I mean, Sapat, I felt like he hit his 4 a bit too late. If he hit it like a second earlier, that penalty zone would have changed everything. But he got his level 4 late, and Izanami landing that snipe from a farm. The kill going over to Venogo means that Venogo doesn't lose much despite not getting a turtle.
Okay, Stone, he's going for a couple combos in. Zorn is a little bit tanky for this, but at the same time, look at all the traps just giving so much vision. Homeboys. This is annoying.
I mean, to follow up on the earlier point on who is going to open the map, it's not just Venogo or Ripple, right? Izanami can also do that, Stone can also do that. They have a lot of tools to get vision, to get information, as long as they use it correctly. I think that's the prerequisite.
I think getting information is one thing. Taking space is another thing. So my question is that who is RSG? Sorry, let me rephrase that question. It would be like, how does RSG MY take space?
Then it comes down to, you find info, Storm lands a stun, and then you threaten having Venogo or Ripple start a fight. I think that's probably the way.
Yeah, they're basically trading having heroes that can ease. Oh,
Okay, not happening. Final stash comes in. Izanami gets the I thought. No, his second skill weathered off as well. Heavy spin comes in. It's not going to be enough to save Izanami. He tried to cross the wall, but just so unlucky. But good catch here coming from Homeboys. Good catch.
Izanami didn't really notice that until it was too late. Had to blow his flicker and ended up going down.
Venogo is trying to be a little bit oppressive. Purple Ball gets caressed as well. Zorn taking half HP. Combo comes in. Storm needs to get the arrow in. Doesn't connect, so they will forfeit the purple buff for Venogo. So resets from Homeboys and RGMY will need to stabilize somehow.
With a draft like this, hold on, they do land an arrow, not gonna do too much with it. RC is basically trading information gathering for tanky heroes that can open up the map for free, right? And that does make their life a little difficult.
Okay, final stash catches on 2. They got the Eternal Guardian in here. Can they burst down Ripple? Yes, they can. Venogo a little bit late for the heavy speed. He pins on Nets, but where's the follow-up? They don't have focus fires. They finally got the job done. Venogo will pay with his life to get the kill on Nets. They lose 2 for 1. And again, Lolios nowhere to be found yet. He's so quiet throughout the entire game, and Turtle in the hands of Chibi.
It's not worth. He felt like it was not worth joining the fight. Might as well get the top tier 1. Get something in return. Ripple didn't get to get his Primal Wrath off. That was very unfortunate because that could have perhaps changed the fight around. Ripple needed to get his ult off for the extra damage because everyone else just does not have enough.
At this stage of the game, Homeboys are just going to be superior during team fights. They have.
Oh my
find
goodness,
Zorn.
Lord. Oh,
Wow, the
so
vengeance dash.
close. So close. He could have died right there and there.
So as I was saying, Homeboys has the better team fight overall because they have Belly Zone, they have Final Slash, Chibi is tanky. RSG needs the delay. Their game plan is basically catch stragglers or take longer fights to whittle down health bars with that Star Shatter and that Abyssal Arrow. But they're also just basically distracting Homeboys long enough for Lolil to come online the same way he did in game number 2.
Yeah, the only way for RCMY to have enough damage in a short fight is Moskov.
In a little bit of trouble, forces the Prime Round. Final stash comes in. 4-man Echo. He's going to get obliterated by Udil. Meanwhile, Chibi, he's going to be pinned on the wall. Lolios with the saves comes in. But now here comes the heavy spin. They find Zorn. A 2-for-1 special. Bargain for RSGMY.
Oh. Izanami and Lolio both got a kill each. They needed that goal to come back.
Yeah, that's quite an overextension from the Homeboys. Again, GB being a little bit too far away from his team, getting punished by being isolated. And now even though RGMY are still behind in terms of net worth, getting those kills, like you mentioned, on Lolil and Izanami especially, are way more valuable.
What is happening with the gold laners for this past 2 days, man? Like, yo, it's been clutches after clutches by the gold laners. Damn, Lolios.
He's having a good game.
Yup, and now here comes the start. He catches Udil. Can he get the kill? Oh no, he goes for the counter play as well. He needs to get out. No fights here coming from Homeboys. And now here comes the catch from Zorn, but they will be able to escape safely. Meanwhile, Vinogo is still around. Turtle's still exposed here. RGMY, they've got their health dropped down pretty low.
Yeah.
Turtle down to 20%. That's it.
Nah, not worth going for it. Again, Homeboy is controlling the neutral objectives very well. That was one of the key points that we brought up early on, right? RGMY needs to improve the neutral objective, but this one...
Oh, Vinogo, do it. You don't want to go for the heavy spin as well. No, Chibi sidestep his way through. Penalty zone comes in.
Lolio?
Suffa goes in. Udil finds Repo. Lolio still deciding if he should join, but nope, not a good fight for RGMY. Echo comes in. Not sure what's going to object to that as well. Bissell, not going to be connect. Tier 2 still stands for Homeboys.
Man, look at the way that Lolio set up, right? Almost taking down the top tier 2. All this considered, this is great for RGMY. Normally, when you have a network disadvantage, you're immediately on the shoulder end of the stick, but I don't feel that way for RGMY at this point of time.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Doing a good job here. Even the AI winning prediction predicting in their favor right now, but Homeboy's not letting up on the pressure. Chibi diving the jungle. Ooh, final slash just barely missing, but look at the opposite side. Lolil just getting free reign to do whatever.
Yeah, now Chibi going for the fronts. RGMY, they have to go through the reset. Lolio's nowhere to be found, but Nogo, he's getting burst out a little bit too much damage here, but a nice stun here from Hudio to set up for the kill. They find one, they find two, Repo and Nogo is out. Nets and Zorn getting a little bit too much damage here. Lolio is finally joining the fight. He finds Chibi as well, and now Lolios is mad.
Completely ignored the entire fight. Sure, Homeboys got the top tier 2. They killed off 2 members of the side of RGMY, but the crucial ones, they are still getting the kills, right? Lolia got 2 kills off of that. The Storm's arrow landing onto Ness was also important because Ness could not participate in the fight because he was brought down so low.
Yeah, this is looking a bit dangerous. Lolil 3-0-1 right now. Homeboys needs to find a way to shut him down. They still have the net worth lead, yes, but their positioning not really respecting RSG just yet. Like, they're going very aggressive to try and get kills, which they can do because they have Fredrin and Terizla. They gotta understand, there's no Nether Realm
Oh,
this
the
game.
arrow. The arrow. Repo trying to extend his fight, half HP. Another arrow comes in. Oh, triple stun on Surfat. He just wants to move. Can't seem to move. And now Repo with the flicker forward. Oh, just a pixel off.
Yeah,
A second too late from the Echo. Maybe, just maybe, if the Echo hit it a second earlier, maybe the hitbox would have gotten the hook.
the Echo is going to come back in like 30 seconds because of the Enchanted Talisman, so it's fine. But damage down ranking, Udio still holding the first place. All the splash AoE damage from this Vexana, making sure that he's contributing, but most of them not resulting in enough kills, and that's what I'm worried about Homeboys right now. Unless Nets becomes the insurance policy like we've seen the entire series.
And Nathan has the capability to go 1v5 as long as he's given enough space. So Nets really just needs to farm up. But Lolil is doing the same.
Huge. That is huge. Homeboys definitely spot that out. So if they go now and Lolios doesn't make it in time, it is going to be in trouble here. But Lolio seems like he is going to be regrouping here. He showed himself down middle. So Homeboy still going to be going for the Lord Dance once more.
It's hard for Sapat and Zorn to hide properly because they're just getting exposed by the Abyssal Arrow and the Novaria.
Oh, the dance. Sapat getting checked. 4-man Echo comes in. Do they want to go in? Arrow connects to Sapat. This is huge. This is go time. Repo. He's getting taunted as well, but Appraisal's round. Dance blows him off, and now he's going to find Vinogo. One more auto attack. Vinogo survives. Homeboys now rushing the Lord. Can they go for this as well? They need the arrow to connect. Spear comes. Dance. He runs away, but Lolios is getting chased on. Can he survive? Yes, he will. He's got the Purify. He finds one, but he eventually falls. Subpart finishes him off. Homeboys, they get the biggest catch. RSGMY denied. Denied.
That's a mistake from RCMY. The rest of the team were lady.
Oh no, it's not over. Vinogo, he's got the heavy spin. They got Nets as well. This is huge for RSGMY. They trade a gold laner for a gold laner. Homeboys, they could have gotten out. The arrow! The RSGMY, they're doing it without Lolios. Then now Chibi, they're forcing the fight. Lolios is back on 0 seconds. Repo will fall. Binogo, he's trying to extend the fight. Where's the spear? Where's the spear? Binogo is dead. The spear not out on Lolios. RSGMY, what seemed to be a good fight, has become a disastrous moment in this game for RSGMY.
Man, both teams overextending at this point. Stone will be back in time. Loliao needs to take out the Lord. Is Anami caught?
Uh-oh. Do they get him? Tier 2 still stands. They are going to be able to clear this minions, but Spear. Oh, Chibi sidesteps here. Lolios, he still wants to kill him off. That's pokes him away. Can he get out? Yes, he will. Homebois trading on thin ice right now. Same can be said for RSGMY.
We're getting to the point of the game where things are a little bit dicey. Homeboys still have that 3k net worth lead, but it's getting to the point where it doesn't make all that much difference as long as both teams are taking fights the way they want to. And Nets and Olil are both going to be hitting about the same peak very, very soon where they can basically one-shot anyone that they find. So positioning, angles of approach are going to be very important. And it's gonna be harder for RSG because this Novaria Selena comp is still harder to execute comparatively.
Sword, conceal. Oh, great
Wow.
disengage. Lolio uses Purify as well.
That is great. That is great for Homeboys. I was about to point out that Nets took Flicker this game, so he's a very juicy target. One Selena arrow, if no one is body blocking for Nets, he will evaporate. But the fact that you got the Purify out of Loliao means that RSGMY will not feel comfortable fighting for the next lore, at least for a while.
70 seconds, 47 seconds for the Lord and 60 seconds on Lolio's Purify. They have to wait the longest of time, and you can see RSGMY full turtle defense cannot afford to do anything here. It's all about just waiting on those battle spells now.
What about getting info? Stoem and Izanami, they just gotta keep doing their job. It is a very boring chore, but that's the only way to maintain control of the map. You don't want Homeboys to stand in your bush and you do nothing about it.
Okay, arrow connects on Zorn. He's thinking about it, but as soon as it's Zorn, it's like, nah, that's not worth it. It's Roamer only.
That's not the target he wants to be looking for. He wants to find Nets or Udil. Basically, landing the arrow on anyone else is not worth it unless they're 100% sure that they're isolated. And Homeboys is not going to make that mistake right now, especially since the Lord just respawned.
Now that I think about it here, if they get an arrow on towards Nets, he's dead. He doesn't have a Purify at all.
Yeah.
Well,
Now it's the slow burn.
Indeed, but now Echo connects on tree. Arrow, oh, so far off. Not going to be able to connect here. Homeboys will be resetting the Lord for now. The minions are not pushed from both sides, so it's pretty 50-50. It comes down to a individual mistake now from both sides. Chibi looking at an attempt. RGMY dodges for now.
Yeah.
Lord once again gets resetted.
No conceal for Homeboys. Zorn used it. They wanted to make a play, but RSGMY read that perfectly.
this is a terrifying Lord dance. I would not want to be part of it.
It's tough now. Binogo takes the full run, forces the heavy spin. The arrow connects the Serpent. Here comes the Echo as well. Chibi whiffing the Appraiser's Wrath. Lord dropping down pretty low. It's going to be close. The spear comes in. Do they go for the fight? No go! Steals the Lord. They come in as well, and Lolio cleans house. He gets one, he gets two, he gets them all. Repo gets one as well. Nets runs for his life. It's only him and Udil left, and RSGMY is looking for the fight. Lolio comes in the midst of chaos. He destroys all of Homeboys.
That was close.
I had to see.
Oh my goodness, Nets. The crowd absolutely silenced. RSGMY, they are doing it. They've done the impossible.
No minion wave.
Are they gonna do this? Zorn, 5 seconds left.
5
Chibi
seconds.
10, 8 for Serpent. RSGMY with the Lord. They need to do
going for it. They
everything.
got it.
The arrow comes in. They're losing. They're focusing on the crystal. They have done it. They have done it. RSGMY has done it. They are your upper bracket finals. They shut down Homeboys 3-0, silencing the Flame Boys, silencing the fans here at Stadium MPSJ.
Wow, the Raiders literally tear down the Homeboys piece by piece, exacting their revenge. Best served out cold, 3-0. Can you believe it?
I don't know what happened to RSGMY during the break. I don't know what they're on, but I want some of it. RSGMY showing us how it's done. a clean sweep against the defending champions to go on into the upper bracket finals. They'll be playing against SRG, but for now, we're going to be interviewing them on stage.
3-0 clean sweep untuk pasukan RSGMY securing the upper bracket finals match pada hari esok. Dan dorang akan jumpa Selangor Red Giants. First of all, congratulations guys. That was honestly a very unexpected 3-0. I memang terkejut. I lari daripada atas. First of all, Ripo, apa perasaan Ripo dapat kalahkan Homebois? Now kita tahu RSG adalah satu pasukan yang memang susah sangat nak lawan Homebois daripada musim lepas ke tak silap. You guys have not won against them in a series. Kali ini best of 5, clean sweep pula tu. How are you feeling, Ripo?
Alhamdulillah lah sebab menang hari ni kan, sebab kita dah try hard lah sebelum ni kan. So untuk Homebois sebenarnya dia dapat rasa lah apa yang kita rasa season selepas kan. Dia dah tunggu dekat upper bracket tapi dia orang turun.
Oh yeah, last season.
Yeah,
it's
last
like
season.
deja vu, right?
Deja vu untuk dia orang.
Deja vu. Okay, now Ripo, I nak tanya, you dah rasa dah dapat balas dendam tak dengan dorang actually as of now?
Tak lah sebab playoff tak habis lagi. Selagi Homebois masih ada dalam playoff, selagi tu kita tak boleh nak tak pandang rendah lah kat diorang. Diorang still ada chance kita orang akan jumpa diorang dekat final ke apa. Who knows.
Alright, betul tu and I agree. Alright, can we please pass it to Loliel? I'm pretty sure kita semua boleh agree that Loliel punya playstyle hari ni memang it's another level. Apa ni? Does Loliel have a playoffs buff ke? What happened and there is a playoffs buff? Patutlah lain macam. Okay, Loliel. So dengan kemenangan ni, adakah RSG sudah warm up dan dah ready untuk jumpa SRG esok?
Kami sangat-sangat ready untuk berjumpa dengan SRG besok dan harap-harap kami akan menang juga melawan mereka di hari besok.
Wow, I like that. I really like that. Okay guys, so like always, setiap match ada MVP. Ada satu player yang shine, bersinar. Korang rasa siapakah player yang stand out untuk korang untuk perlawanan ini? Tak dengar? Tak dengar? Siapa? Okay, mari kita tengok MVP in 3, 2, 1. MVP jatuh kepada Ripo, Storm, Izanami. Alright, the Prince of Mage. Okay, Izanami, first of all, I nak tanya actually, how are you feeling right now? And kenapa you guys pick the Selena and Novaria combo? Nah, kita tahu quite a few teams pernah cuba combo ni dekat regular season dan hasilnya tak berapa bagus. Apa yang you guys macam cari ataupun what did you guys do to make sure that you guys could pull off combo ni dekat playoffs?
First, happy lah sebab menang game ni kan. And Selena dengan Novaria punya combo tu kami just try untuk main di scrim sebab Storm pun sebelum ni adalah mid lane kan. So dia memang berpengalaman lah juga main Selena. So kami cuba di scrim dan benda tu tiba-tiba menjadi lah. So kami just try untuk bawa pergi MPL ni lah.
I see. So macam maybe tu playstyle kepada pasukan lain tak jadi tapi playstyle dengan RSG dia jadi. Alright. Okay, can we please go back to Vinogo? Alright, Vinogo. Yesterday was a do or die match for RSG. You guys managed to come out of that red zone and now you guys are back in the game with still 2 lives on hand. Now tomorrow you're gonna be going up against SRG. Now they are pretty strong, really great contender this season. How ready are you to be facing up against a local jungler who's a lot of people are saying is one of the best jungler we have right now, Sakais? Are you ready to go up in this matchup? And if you are, do you think you guys can actually secure the first grand final ticket tomorrow?
Yes, of course we are ready to face tomorrow. But like I said yesterday, anything can happen. And see, we easily 3-0 today. So, tomorrow might happen also. I just believe in my team, and hopefully we can get the first spot to grand finals tomorrow.
Wow. All right. I like that. Okay, Stone. All right, Stone, you just beat the Roamer from technically our past season champion and the number 2 Roamer in the regular season. Tomorrow you're going up against the number 1 Roamer during the regular season. Now, last season, you were the number 1 Roamer. So, what do you have to say to Humes with this upcoming matchup?
I think from last season, I think he really improved, and I agree that this season he's the best roamer, so I'm hoping to have a good match with him.
Wow, all good words, all love and fair with RSG and SRG. Okay, last, can we give it to a coach? All right, coach, just want to say amazing draft this game. But what would you like to say to all the RSG fans who are watching at home and in the stadium? And jangan lupa, suruh dorang sokong korang pada esok.
So pertama sekali saya nak cakap terima kasih sebab regular season kita orang bermula dengan tidak baik. Kita orang dekat bottom league dan saya nak bagi penghargaan juga kepada orang yang komen dekat social media, still support player. Sebab walaupun benda tu macam benda yang nampak mudah, tapi sebenarnya bagi sangat efek dekat player, dekat saya, dekat seluruh tim. Kata-kata sokongan korang. So tolong teruskan bagi kita orang support dekat social media, dekat venue, dan kita orang harap sangat fans akan datang juga untuk venue tomorrow. Terima kasih.
All right, thank you so much to RSGMY. You guys may now go celebrate your victory. And once again, congratulations on securing the second upper bracket final match tomorrow. Now, esok, SRG akan lawan dengan RSG untuk the first grand final slot. But sebelum esok, mari let's show it back to the casters to dissect what happened in this crazy clean sweep.
You know, guys, we talked about it earlier today that the playoffs has brought many unexpected results. But I think this has been the craziest one thus far. RSGMY, a clean sweep against the defending champions, sending them down to the lower bracket. And the pillar of RSG, Izanami, finally getting the recognition he deserves.
Man,
to be honest, seeing how things has happened here in the stage, especially when the responses of the fans, considering that how full this stadium is, like not hearing a peep shows is a statement.
This is the most silent I've heard the Flame Boys. You could drop a pin and you can hear the pin.
Yes.
My God, the only noise I've heard is because of the BM broadcasters on the stage. But aside from that, it's just
disbelief. I think disbelief for the Flame Boys, but just a resurgence for RSG, right? This is kind of the game that everyone thought would stop RSG from moving further, would send them to the lower bracket, and here they are. And crazy enough that the team that delivered us a 3-0 was RSG and not SRG early on.
Right.
It says so much about how fast, how far they have come in the playoffs.
We also expected Homebois to 3-0 at RSG and not the other way around as well. That's something that a lot of us were expecting as well. But again, I think what Vinogo said during the interview was a very, very good testament to that, right? Like, because it's a new patch, when it comes to playoffs, anything can happen. And guess what? He was kind of shocked as well. Oh, wait, I got 3-0. Okay, sure, man. Like, great. Now we send them down low bracket. That pretty much confirms them for top 3 no matter what happens.
Yep.
Which is a good sign.
Better placement than last season where they finished 4th. I think this also is a good time to finally bring up the whole where did Assassin junglers go, right? Because last season, if you look back, a lot of success that Chibi found, not just with Fredrin, with Assassin junglers, you know, Hauker, something he even whipped at the Luomont in playoffs. But right now, the Nolan is not working anymore, and teams are finding ways to really shut down Homeboy's aggressive play, because Chibi, he participates in these fights, but not in the same way as Season 12.
Personally, I think what ended up happening is that Homeboys did get a little bit affected, right? I feel like there was actually psychological damage inflicted, but not by the Homeboys who were spam recalling throughout game 2 and 3, right? It almost feels like they really wanted to force things, to try and get that victory, to regain their position in this series, and that made them make mistakes, right? It made them overextend, because RCMY, this is a difficult composition to execute. Novaria, Selena can be punished quite easily as long as you make sure to dodge all the abilities, as long as you mind your positioning. It's a composition that's designed to punish overextension.
Yeah.
And Homeboys, I feel like, fell into that trap. If they just played normally.
I think it's more like, it might be like it's annoying to be in front of people seeing recall, right? It tempts people to kind of dive into this conversation without ever thinking, or maybe even just like take the bait most of the time. But what I felt like from that game itself, it came down from second game onwards, where Homeboys were so dominating and all the way through here. They were spamming recalls, but to be honest, the reason why we're spamming recalls is because we know we are ahead and we are winning this game. But when you have that kind of confidence and suddenly out of nowhere, all those confidence and getting punished, it just shows that, wait, I should have won this game. And I throw that, it actually sends a reverse psychology onto yourself. And I feel like they tilted a little bit here. And you can start to feel the pressure is on them as well, especially in game 3. Like, wait, we're 2 rounds behind. We don't really want to disappoint the fans or even ourselves. And I don't know, like, you can see the silence, even though we can hear it, but to be honest, it is hurt the most from the players themselves.
I think, sure, I can agree with that. I feel like, okay, perhaps Homeboys didn't expect to drop Game 2 in that fashion, considering that they almost won Game 1. But more of in Game 3, Homeboys for the longest of time had like a 2 to 3k gold lead. But remember, I pointed out, it really doesn't feel much if you're RSGMY. Even the AI prediction still thinks that RSG is going to win despite them being at a disadvantage. That's because of how they've been playing, right? Homeboys have been trying to punish Vinogo, get his heavy spin out before objective. They've been destroying Ripple before he gets his Primal Wrath off. But in the later games, they overheated. They started to overextend, get displaced by Vinogo, get displaced by the Edith. That's where it started going down the drain. The Hall of Fame shows a lot. Izanami again showing up on that most damage. Vinogo, the sandbag, Rich Guy being Lo Liao. And Chibi, he's just left to pick up the pieces.
Homeboys really were put in the back foot here, because when the game started, it was actually pretty even in comparison, right? Homeboys were putting up a good fight, being able to like duel against RSG, punishing them at times, and then RSG would come back, punish Homeboys for being overextended, so it was pretty even overall. The problem is, when you have a composition like this, it shouldn't be even. Homeboys can very easily just run at RSG in the beginning of the game as long as they forced out the heavy spin, and there's not a lot of tools that RSG can use to deny that. I think they did let what happened in Game 2, Game 1 get to their heads a little bit. It made them want to make things happen. Chibi walking into the tri-bush again when the rest of his team is retreating the other way and then getting punished for it, and then continuing to try and force matters did not help them.
Yeah, it's just really awkward as well. But I feel like it came down to the final Lord fight, right? Like this fight right here was a little bit awkward coming from both Homeboys and RSG. Like technically, when they got the kill on towards Lolios, they should have just backed off.
Yeah.
Like, was it this one that they actually got the kill on Lolios?
No, I think
not this one.
I think probably did Lolio even die? I don't remember.
I actually don't think they caught Lolio.
I think like that game they caught Ripple. Like Ripple was basically the punching bag.
No. They caught Lolios.
Oh yeah, this
they
one, right?
Here,
like,
yes.
The moment they got them here, this was the moment where, hey, Nets is at the strongest, and for him to be caught out, counterplay, where RSGMY was at their weakest, this pretty much caused a spiral where Homeboys couldn't close out the game or get any more objectives, because by this time, they were just trading blows after blows. Yes, they may have had the numbers advantage, but it feels like Nets was the reason they need to have to stay alive in order to sync up with the Lord push and push major tower objectives, which unfortunately didn't happen here. And of course, it comes to this final moment here. The moment Lolios jumped in, you can see everyone from inside Homeboys comes to collab. And Lolios was just zipping out and is like, you know what, auto attack, it just destroys everybody.
And I think this also highlights why Homeboys were just trying to punish the Akai and the Edith, because if they're left alive, the amount of crowd control is just too much. And this is the updated brackets. Staffa, it's all yours.
We got SRG up against RSG. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. That's actually going to be the very first game tomorrow, in fact. So we'll instantly get to know which of these teams is our very first grand finalist. And in a twist of fate, it's gonna be King Empire versus Homebois in the lower bracket semis to see who gets to keep their tournament lives intact.
I think it's bittersweet for both KG and Homebois because last season, if we consider a part of KG as XSMG, they were top 2.
That's
and
true.
one of that story ends tomorrow.
Oh boy, it is officially the top 4 and as played thus far. And of course, for tomorrow's match, to start things off, we have SRG going up against RSG to find out who will be in the lower bracket finals to face off against either King Empire or Homebois, being the second match. And of course, being in that position means that whoever wins that series has to play another game right after that.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day.
2 consecutive best of 5s.
It's going to be a long day for the teams who are in that lower bracket. Right? I mean, you get an extra hour break, sure, but if the previous one goes like all 5 games, you still are going to be in the weeds. But I wish the teams best of luck because we're down to the top 4, the true top 4 bracket. One of these teams is going to lock in grand final spot, and that means that is one step closer to Riyadh.
I think during the regular season, right, we highlighted a few times where it didn't really feel like MPLMY was approaching a new era just yet. Like, teams were still shaky, gameplay didn't look all that good. But coming into the playoffs, I feel like that energy has been reinvigorated, right? The break seems to have done these teams a lot of good. There's been a lot of improvement, a lot of evolution. Homebois, surprisingly, doesn't seem to have been able to keep up with what RSG has brought to the table. So it's so interesting to see all of this. It truly is starting to feel like a new era of MPLMY.
And I'm happy to see it's still spearheaded by SRG, but at least the other people are catching up. I think that's the best part.
Yeah, agreed. But of course, if you guys want to feel the presence and also watch the show here at the MBSJ here, you can actually get your tickets by scanning the QR code up on screen. Be sure to save it up as well because the ground floors are pretty much all sold out for tomorrow, as well as grand finals here. But of course, the terrace seating for tomorrow is still open for free entry. However, for the grand finals, you need to pay for 10 ringgit. It is only available after tomorrow finishes. Tomorrow, 11:30 p.m. It's only available to be purchased for the terrace seating.
Yeah, get your devices out, like 5 mobile phones, 10 laptops, just keep refreshing the pace because I remember when they opened the ticket sales for playoffs, it immediately sold out on the ground floor. So, fans want to be in here, but we also don't want to crowd out the place and turn it into a sardine can, so you guys got to get your spot.
We feel bad because last season, MPLMY, like there was so many people to a point where they have to cut entrance outside that they couldn't even watch the game, which is a little bit unfortunate here. However, what's something that you guys can watch and enjoy while playing your games here is going to be the Exorcist series.
What's your flash eye?
I was about to say exorcism, but it's like, no, it's not an exorcism.
The Exorcist.
Go do it. Yeah, stuff. Go, whatever.
The Exorcist series has returned once again, bringing forth an extraordinary duo of exorcists, each distinct in their essence. One burdened by a great evil, forever yearning for the light, while the other, an exorcist possessing the power to seal tainted power in his body. Amidst this intricate web, the question lingers. How shall they forge their own destinies? Of course, it's gonna be Granger and Hayabusa getting their exorcist skins, and they look really good. So you guys should make sure to check that out.
Cinematic looks dope. I went for the 25 diamond discounted draw. I got the Hayabusa emote. Ooh.
Yeah.
That is nice. I love it.
And I think I need an exorcist right now because I'm being possessed from the glares, the goosebumps. I can feel everything. Like I think something is around me right now.
I think you're just cold.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm icy baby. I get it. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you're living up to the name.
Yeah.
But honestly, today has been crazy.
Yeah.
I think the end of the day, the results we have seen are completely out there compared to what we would have predicted before the day began. And it's only day 2 of the playoffs. We still got 2 more days before we can crown our new MPLMY champion. But that's gonna be it for day 2. Once again, this is the English broadcast with me, Staffa, along with Husky and Icy Baby 1-2. We'll leave you guys with the mic check for this final series, and we will see all of you for day number 3.
CC, no mana. Hero. Kill. Nice turn. Bye-bye. Nice turn. No purify, no purify, no purify, no.
Dead.
Nata no purify, Nata no purify. Careful, guys.
Let me reset.
Reset.
I will.
Tengok ni. Nice. Let's go. Balik. Dah, reset. Adalah. Balik guys, reset adalah.
Nice one. Ha, masuk. Masuk bro. Mati.
Fallen missing guys.
Hey bro.
Fallen missing guys. Guys, fallen missing.
Yeah, next minion guys, next minion. Just
This minion.
Choose no flicker.
Careful. Fight.
Dead. No, I can stun carry.
GG.
Nice one.
Boleh. Hero.
Pergi atas. Nice ban.
Aduh, kena lagi.
Hati-hati skill 2 mouse kau sama tombak dari KS Lord.
Sini.
Lobby.
Nice. Nice ban.
Can you go?
I go for...
I got. Careful, back up turn. Fight. You have ulti po? Hey, bang!
Tower.
All tower guys.